agreement from the ballot. That's great.
Well, welcome, everybody. If I could have quiet, I'm calling to order the meeting of the Design Review Board for Thursday, March 26th at 5:00 PM, 2026. Welcome, everybody. First, we'll call the roll. Paula, could you do that, please?
Board Member Balta,
Here.
Board Member Coveney,
Here.
Board Member Wow,
I'm here.
Chair Pro Tem Gannon,
Yes, ma'am.
Chair Gibbs.
Here. So we'll do the pledge, and let me guess who we should do the pledge, because it may be your last one from the podium.
I like a fast tempo, by the way.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay,
That felt good.
that did feel
We
good.
finally got it right.
And the justice for all.
So we have a sad but congratulatory moment right now to talk about. Don't run away, Jess. I have something for you here. This is her last night on the board after 3 terms, 6 years. And first of all, let's thank her for her great contribution to this city. So we have a few things here. First, I've got a proclamation from our mayor, which I'll read. It's to Jessica Gannon. That's her, in case you didn't know. On behalf of the entire city council, I would like to thank you for your service to the city as a member of the Design Review Board. Our commissions, committees, and boards play a vital role in our city government and are of great assistance to the city council in performing its role. The commitment that you made as a committee member provided a valuable service to residents of Laguna and helped to keep the city a very special place to live. Your efforts are much appreciated. So there's that. You can see all the flowers too. The next we have is a gift from the board, the current board members, which you can go ahead and just open it. My wife said she made it easy to do there.
It's an easy breakaway.
Yeah, I didn't wrap it. Yeah, we got a picture of MJ. This is a book all with Laguna pictures. And if you look at the inside cover, you don't have to read it now. One more page.
I'll read it at the rest.
All of us made a little note. But you can read it without crying. And then I believe that
Thank you, Chair Gibbs. So on behalf of staff, we just wanted to echo those same sentiments. Obviously, as Chair Gibbs had just mentioned, been a part of our little DRB family now for 6 years and have obviously rolled on quite literally hundreds of applications and certainly made your mark and left a lasting impression on the city. So on behalf of the staff, we have a couple of cards expressing our gratitude for your leadership and your vision and insight and direction on the board. And just thank you and congratulations.
And real quick, I would ask each of the board member just to give a brief comment about Jess and her special place on this board. So Louis, you
I'll go first because I'll cry because
Okay, go
I'm a
ahead.
crier. Plus I have sciatica, which is causing a little tears as well. You have been such a support to me on this board. I was completely freaked out when I first came on and just felt like I didn't know what I was doing. And you kept me steady. You were always great counsel. You were tough, but you were fair. And I'm grateful that I got to know you as a friend and a board member.
Excellent. Emir?
Jess, thank you for all your efforts. Really appreciate your guidance with some of the earlier meetings. I also wanted to thank you for bringing the Laguna community and being a big part of the Laguna community, but also not just from as your service, but also as a personality. I think you're part of the Laguna community. You represent us well. So thank you. And we wish you much success in your future endeavors.
Louis?
Jess, it's been a pleasure getting to know you over these years. Just kind of looking back at a few moments. I mean, you started on the board, you applied, you didn't get it, and then you got kind of re-asked to come back. That was probably the greatest decision this board could have had. And it's been a pleasure to serve with you for 6 years. We've gotten through COVID and doing the Zoom meetings and seeing countless, staff said hundreds, it's probably closer to thousands of projects over the years. You have an amazing personality for what we do here. You advocate for the neighbors, you advocate for the applicants, you thoughtfully put together your thoughts through this process. Your voice will be absolutely missed across this dais, not only amongst the board members, but for the community as well, as you've served it to your fullest. And you've done an amazing job for the community, and I'm lucky enough to call you a friend. So thank you.
And I've served with you for 3 years. And a couple of things strike me. One is you put in the time and you care. And I think your depth of knowledge in what we do has been an invaluable asset to this board from the day I first got here. I've learned from you. I think we've all learned from you. I think we've learned from each other as well over the years. But the insight, one of the things that's beautiful, and for everybody in the audience, we put in a lot of time. I mean, this is a time-intensive job, and it's important to have board members that care, that put in the time, and that call balls and strikes the way they see them, sincerely, always sincerely. And you've done that. I think you've been exemplary in that area. And I think you've brought a lot to the board in getting our decisions right. You cared. I think there's a legacy there. You know, I think all of us kind of have future board members carry on, and there's several board members that are going to be here for a while that are going to carry on your legacy. So thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Glad I got to serve with you.
Wow.
All right.
Oh. can we
Yeah,
get a-
does any of the public want to speak about Jess? I'm going to move this.
If you're on the agenda tonight, you don't have to.
All right. Well, thank you for your time. As Tom said, it's a thankless job. The pay is extremely high. So that offsets the pain you guys go through. But I have to say, I think I've been doing this for 50 years, and this is one of the most well-balanced, personality-wise, education, knowledge, and fairness to the public. And I think you guys do a great job. And thank you to all of you, but especially to Jessica. And I wish you also good luck in whatever you end up doing. I'm sure you'll be successful. Thanks.
Thank you. That means a lot, Morris.
Thanks, Morris.
Jessica, we're going to miss you. You know, I do want to
Steve doesn't
say
cry.
you have not aged appreciably in the last 6 years. Yeah. I got in trouble last time I was up here when Tom was succeeding you as chair. Bill's predecessor got pissed at me because I said that you had brought sexiness back to the board. So thank you for your service, and we will miss you. Thank you.
In the words of JT.
That's right. All right, let's get to, oh yeah, we got to do the photo. I totally forgot. Why don't you grab this? And do you want to hold the book too, or leave it? Where are we going? We're going to go in front.
So did you guys custom make this?
I thought this is from Central Knowledge. This, I think you'll get a big kick out. It's really beautiful. All righty, everybody. So let me go through the procedure. I know many of you have heard it, but some of you may not. So please listen. We'll start tonight with public communications, where any member of the public can address the board on a matter within the purview of the Design Review Board that's not a matter that's on the agenda tonight. We'll next address the consent calendar and then address modification of the agenda order, if any. We will then proceed to regular order of business. I will, as chair, introduce an item, the address, the applicable design review or entitlement numbers. The applicants will take their seat at the front desk. The board will give ex parte communications. The staff will present a summary presentation of the application that's before us. The board will have the opportunity to ask questions. At that point, I will open the public hearing. The applicant team will.
No good deeds goes unpunished.
Yeah, let me move over until we get somebody to wipe that up. I know. Okay, the applicant team will begin and have 5 minutes. Then members of the public will have 3 minutes each unless we shorten that time, and hopefully that won't be necessary tonight. The applicant team will then have a 3-minute rebuttal. The board will then have the opportunity to ask questions of the applicant, members of the public, or the staff. Once that's completed, the chair will close the public hearing, commence deliberations. Any action by the board requires a majority vote of 3 board members. The applicant or any person who by the way, the action of the board is done by way of motion, second, and then vote. And again, it requires a majority of at least 3. Any person residing within 300 feet of the project or the applicant disagrees, they will have 14 days to appeal. So with that, we will first address the consent calendar. It's 4.1, the draft DRB minutes for March 28, 2024. And then draft 4.2 is draft DRB minutes for May 9, 2024. I start with the public. Do I do the public? So, okay, any members of the public wish to speak on the consent items? Seeing none, close the public hearing. Any deliberations on them? Seeing none, do I have a motion, please?
Chair, I'll move items number 4.1 and 4.2 as proposed by staff.
Second.
He's gonna go get him. He's gonna go get
All right, the next items of the,
Hang on, Chair, yeah, so we have a motion and a second. We need to
oh,
go
is it second?
ahead and call the roll.
Oh, roll call.
Board Member
Was-
Malta,
Distracted by the.
Board Member Coveney,
Yes.
Board Member Weil,
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Gannon,
Yes.
Chair Gibbs.
Yes.
Motion has passed 4-1.
All righty, then we have, we'll proceed to the regular business.
Chair, I think we would need to make sure, do we do general public comment? I know you described it. Did we
No,
open it up?
We did not, thank you. So before we go to that, members of the public who wish to speak, that's within our purview but not on the agenda, please come up now. I think, Greg, did you wish to speak on oh, I thought there was, oh, you know who was? Stan, are you going to speak? Okay. All right, so there's 2 continuances. I'll do them together. And if any members of the public wish to speak on either of them, they'll have that opportunity. We have 5.1, which is 660 Temple Hills Drive, Design Review 2026-0090, Coastal Development Permit 2026-0386, Variance 2026-0089. And then 5.2 is the 5.1 continuance request is to our April 9, 2026 meeting. The next item is 5.2, which is 195 High Drive, Design Review 2025-0875. And the request there is to continue it to April 23, 2026. So I'll open the public hearing. Any members of the public wish to speak on either of those two items? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Any discussion? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
Chair, I'd like to make a motion to move items 5.1 and 5.2 for continuance as per the agenda notes.
Second.
Call the roll.
Board Member Belta,
Yes.
Board Member Coveney,
Yes.
Board Member Weil,
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Gannon,
Yes.
Chair Gibbs.
Yes.
Motion has passed 5-0.
Okay, the next item is 5.3, 156 Chiquita Street, Design Review 2026 dash 0154. Can the applicant come up front? First of all, ex parte.
Chair, I visited the site.
Same.
Same.
I visited this site and reviewed the project using Google Maps.
Very good. I visited the site. Mr. Cerna, please do an expedited presentation.
Will do, Chair. Good evening, Chair Gibbs and members of Design Review Board. My name is Isidoro Cerna, and item 5.3 is a request for design review at 156 Chiquita Street, which is in the R1 zone. This slide presents both the front and rear of the property. The proposed work requiring design review includes a new in-ground swimming pool, spa, and associated pool and spa equipment. Staff believes that the project meets design review guidelines and that the proposed work is compatible with surrounding properties in the neighborhood and does not substantially impair views or privacy and will be compatible with the development present in the neighborhood. Staff's recommendation is to conduct a public hearing and adopt resolution 2026-0154, approving design review 2026-0154, and finding said action exempt from CEQA pursuant to section 15301, existing facilities. This concludes my presentation, and I'm available for questions.
Thank you very much. Any members have a question? Seeing none, I open the public hearing. You have 5 minutes.
At the bottom.
Yes, we're going to be building, as Mr. Cedro said, an in-ground swimming pool, 18 by 14, 172 square feet, and a spa, 7 by 7. The elevation is going to be at 0, and that everything else is specified on the plans. And if you guys have any questions, I'm ready to answer.
Thank you very much. Any members of the general public wish to speak on this project? Come up now. Seeing none, I'm returning it to you. You have 3 minutes. You don't have to use it.
I'm okay.
A man of few words. Love it. All right. Any questions of applicant or staff? Seeing none, I close the public hearing. Who wants to begin?
I'll start with this one. It's a very size appropriate pool. The location of it's well designed. It doesn't impair the neighbors. I think staff did a good job outlining the design review criteria, so I'm supportive of the project this evening.
Thank you, sir.
I
like-
concur.
And I can concur with the concur.
MJ?
I'll echo the other board members that could approve this project tonight.
And I walked through the back, doesn't impact neighbors, good location. You've got my vote. So motion, please.
Chair, I'll move item number 5.3 at project location 156 Chiquita Street, that the board adopts resolution 2026-0154, approving design review 2026-0154, and that the findings said action is exempt to CEQA section 15301.
I second.
Call the roll.
Board Member Belta,
Yes.
Board Member Coveney,
Yes.
Board Member Weil,
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Gannon,
Yes.
Chair Gibbs.
Yes.
Motion has passed 5-0.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, the next one is 5.4, 1204 Victory Walk, Design Review 2026-0257. Ex parte, please. The applicant, please come to the front.
Chair, I drove by the site to get the lay of the land and reviewed using Google Docs.
I went by the site, walked the site.
Visited the site, met with the property owner, and also spoke with, shoot, I think it was Denise. Yeah, I can't say her last name. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Visited the site, met with the property owner.
Sorry, it was Deborah Hopkins.
Okay. And I visited the site and walked around. With that, Daniel, I think you can do expedited on this as well. It's pretty simple.
Quick. So for this project, they are proposing to modify a previously approved landscape plan in the Sarah Thurston Park neighborhood. And we received public correspondence from one of the neighbors requesting the podocarpus to be 6 to 7 feet. It's currently proposed at 8 feet. It is currently planted, and there's an associated code enforcement case. This will address that code enforcement case. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Open the public hearing. You have 5 minutes.
I'm not sure we're going to need those 5 minutes.
Don't feel you need to.
Okay. We did have examples of sort of eucalyptus destruction around the house and around our property, and reasons why we wanted to replace those with native plantings. But other than that, I mean, there's really not much for us to discuss.
All right. Any member of the public wish to speak? Seeing none, you have 3 more minutes. You don't need to use them.
We will forfeit that time.
Oh, there was somebody who wanted to speak?
It was Sue. They're waiting.
Sorry, Sue Kemp and Alex were in the back, out of the window.
I didn't see them. Hi. Okay, so any further comments?
No.
Okay, any questions? Now close the public hearing, and Jess, you want to start on this one?
Sure. This is a common sense application. It's a fire hazard, the eucalyptus, and you've just protected that entire canyon. So rightfully so, I can approve this project.
Louis?
Yeah, I get the commenting neighbor where the historical nature of, this zone is quite unique to the overgrowth that surrounds all these homes. But with all the recent fire requirements, I think the landscape plan is more than appropriate and meets the design review criteria. If the podocarpus is set in plans at 8 feet, then I'm more than fine with that, given the nature of the growth that's along the walkways. And I think that would be consistent to the neighborhood.
Yeah, I agree with Louis. I think he brings up some really valid points pertaining to this particular site. First of all, kudos to you guys. Beautiful landscaping, beautiful vegetation. I think it meets the design criteria. Could definitely approve this project tonight.
And I concur with my colleagues. My only question is, do we have to make some statement about the height of the podocarpus?
Yeah, we're gonna
Okay.
designate it.
'Cause
Is it
he's-
designated in the plan? What do the plans call for, Daniel?
8-foot height podocarpus. If you would-
Maintain it 8 feet. Is there a minimum height?
No minimum, just 8 foot.
All right,
That's it. I thought there was a code thing related to that code violation, but
It's just
Code for a hedges is 6 feet.
6
So
feet.
if we want to approve 8 feet for the privacy and the
which
consistency
is
of the
existing
neighborhood,
right
we
now.
have all.
Okay,
the-
so I concur with remaining at 8 feet. Thank you.
okay, and as I understand it, it's the conditions or the approval is that those trees are going to be maintained at 8 feet. Because it's going to be, they're going to grow and need to be trimmed. So you want to do 7 to 8 feet?
Or 6 to 8 feet,
6 to 8, I'm fine with either.
capita 8.
Yeah, go 6 to 8 feet. Is that good with everybody? All right, with that, I think it's a fine project.
So the current plans have not to exceed for 8. The
There
resolution.
needs to be a minimum given that it's used for privacy for the house.
I think the neighbor's concern was more so toward the
Being too
overgrowth.
high?
Yeah. Are you okay with max 8?
I think 8 feet caps it. I mean, if they trim it, they'll trim it to 8 feet. They'll do it a couple times a year.
Okay,
The
I'm fine with that.
podocarpus will stay.
Not to exceed 8 feet. All right, and that's in the plans already?
Yes.
All right.
Chair, I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution 2026-2057, approving a revised landscape plan allowing the replacement of 2 red gum eucalyptus trees with 2 native trees and establishment of various native drought tolerant shrub and ground cover species for the property located at 1204 Victoria Walk, and finding said action categorically exempt from CEQA guidelines 15304.
I'll second that.
Call the roll.
Board Member Belta,
Yes.
Board Member Covney, Board Member Wall,
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Gannon,
Yes.
Chair Gibbs.
Yes,
Motion is passed 5-0.
congratulations.
Congrats, and sorry for interrupting your coffee the other morning. We were just lost, kind of walking through them, trying to find
It's
the.
great to meet you.
Fun.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good to have the visit.
Very cool area. Never been on Victory Lane before. All right, good deal.
Yeah.
The next one is 5.5, which is 22 North La Senda Drive, Design Review 2026-0252. Yeah, Morris, can you come up? And ex parte, please.
Chair, I drove by the site and spoke with Morris on the phone.
I evaluated the site and spoke with Morris.
Same for me.
Same.
And I looked at the aerial and talked to Morris on the telephone. All right, with that, Daniel, you again, expedited, please.
All right, so for 22 North La Senda, this project's an oceanfront lot in Three Arch Bay. They're proposing an elevator addition essentially, and the associated additions to connect the two levels to each other. And here's an elevation of what that looks like. Staff is recommending approval. There has been no neighbor correspondence. That concludes my presentation.
All right, any questions? No, open the public hearing. Morris, you have 5 minutes.
Good evening, thank you. This is a project that we brought before you in 2018. It was approved, no opposition from anybody. It was approved by the HOA. It's the same exact project. Owner decided after 7 or 8 years, he decided that he wanted to put it in the elevator. So we received HOA approval again this time, and we received our exemption from coastal development permit from the Coastal Commission last week. So we're clear on those two levels. Then we just wait for your review. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you very much. Any member of the public wish to speak? Seeing none. Morris, do you have anything more? You have 3 more minutes.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, any questions? All right, who wants to begin?
Chair, I
Emir,
think
go.
this project is a modest addition. I can support this project. I think it meets the design review criteria.
Louis?
Yeah, I concur with my colleagues. It meets the design review criteria. The association approves it, and I think it's compatible with the coastline and just the preservation of this
At
site.
the same time.
MJ?
You ready?
I
I concur.
2 concurrents, and that makes me as this is the easy night tonight. You got us on a good night. You're lucky, Morris.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, do I have a motion?
Chair, I'll make a motion to approve 5.5 located at 22 North La Senda Drive with the resolution noted in the staff report.
I second.
Call the roll.
Board Member Belta,
Yes.
Board Member Coveney,
Yes.
Board Member Weil,
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Gannon,
Yes.
Chair Gibbs.
Yes,
Motion is passed 5-0.
congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, the next one is 5.6, which is 855 Manzanita Drive, Design Review 2026-0217. Warren and Greg, okay, good. Ex parte, please.
Chair, I visited a site with Greg.
Louis?
Visited the site and spoke with Greg and spoke with Warren.
I visited the site and spoke with Greg.
I visited the site.
And I visited the site with Greg and Warren. With that, Brenda expedited.
Of course, this will be an easy one. Good evening, Chair Gibbs and board members. I'm Brenda Wisniewski. This property might look familiar to you. Actually approved a pool in November of last year. And tonight the property owners are back to enclose an exterior deck located in the front of the property. Staff recommends approval. Thank you.
That was excellent.
And off script,
Any
I might add.
questions? There better not be. All right, I open the public hearing. You have 5 minutes.
Well, we've worked with our client many years on different projects, as you just said, Brenda, with the pool. We've done stuff for this gal. She saw my plans on that house like 10 years ago when the original owner was a very good friend of ours, Cal Smith, famous interior designer. So it's been nice to work on this house I worked on for all those years. So I'm glad that the neighborhood likes it, and to make that deck into something besides just a place for a lonesome barbecue, now it could be a breakfast room. So thank you for your help. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Warren?
Hi, everyone. So this is kind of a no-brainer. There's no opposition. So I'm going to use the rest of my time singing Jessica's praises. Thank you sincerely for all you've done, bringing a kind of an easy, carefree attitude towards this whole process, I will say. So thank you very much. And thanks for your kindness to my dog who couldn't be here tonight. She's watching on.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica.
Well, I figure it's stressful enough. I don't want to add more stress, so I come to the table with light and compassion and energy. So
Yeah.
thank you for noticing.
Absolutely, Jessica.
you.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate those words. True words. Any members of the public wish to speak? Seeing none, you have 3 minutes. Don't need them.
We're good. Ready
Good.
to roll here for our sweet clients. Thank you.
All right, any questions?
Oh,
Oh,
so I have 3 more minutes. Also, it's been a pleasure working with you and meeting you. I hope to see you around town.
Absolutely. Denied.
Wait, I take that back.
Oh, God. Yeah, talk about talking yourself out of an approval.
yeah.
All right, with that.
And you too, Tom.
Oh, thanks.
Good thought.
With that, I'll close the public hearing. And Jess, since you've been so activated there, you get to start.
Yes, I've remembered this project prior. Agreed that this is a very simple addition and it adds value to the property and adds usability to the homeowner. And it meets all the design review criteria, and I'm happy to support this project tonight.
MJ?
I concur.
All right, go ahead, Emer.
I concur with my fellow board members.
Yeah, I mean, I follow the staff report and support those comments. The project's definitely design review compatible. I think just the little balance you're doing on this creates a really nice harmony with the design integrity of the home. And it'll add to the street, the streetscape of being able to see just that portion. So.
Thank you, Lou.
And I agree with Lewis's comments. I think it's a good addition on a really good project to begin with. So with that, do we have a motion?
Chair, I'll make a motion to approve 5.6 located at 855 Manzanita Drive with the recommended resolution in the staff report.
I second.
Call the roll.
Board Member Belta,
Yes.
Board Member Coveney,
Yes.
Board Member Weil,
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Gannon,
Yes.
Chair Gibbs.
Yes.
Motion is passed 5-0.
Congratulations. guys. See
Thank you all.
Thank you, gentlemen and ladies.
All right, the next one will be 5.7 at 1169 Catella Street, Design Review 2025-2507, Variance 2025-2508. Ex parte, please.
Chair, I had a site visit and spoke with Todd Skidarian on the phone.
Chair visited the site with Todd.
Visited the site and spoke with Todd.
Visited the site and corresponded with Todd.
And I visited the site with Todd Skidarian. When you're ready, we'll do expedited. Oh, actually, because we got an objection, let's do it regular, but you can be summary.
My apologies, board. I'm having some technical difficulty. Just allow me a minute. Good to go.
Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
You're on.
Good evening, Chair Gibbs and members of the Design Review Board. Chair Yarkhan, Associate Planner, and this is item number 5.7, request for design review and variance approval for a new lower level addition at 1169 Catella Street. Next slide, please. Subject property is approximately 5,000 square feet and is located in the Arch Beach Heights specific plan area. It's currently developed with a 2,396 square foot, two-story residence. Next slide, please. The proposed project includes a 787 square foot lower level addition and 65 square foot mechanical room, partially converted from an existing crawl space beneath the existing two-story single-family residence. An exterior landing and patio area adjacent to the proposed addition is also proposed that provides access to the rear yard, and there is a relocation of an existing AC unit. The exterior walls of the addition align with the existing building footprint above and do not extend beyond the current building face. Next slide, please. The proposed addition includes a new bedroom with an ensuite bathroom, as well as an open area accommodating a small office and living space. Internal access is provided by new stairs connecting to the level above. The proposed mechanical room will house a water heater and 2 forced air units and will be accessed via an exterior door from the south side yard setback. Next slide, please. The addition is located downslope at the rear and is not visible from the public right-of-way. From downslope viewpoints, it remains subordinate because it is fully contained within the existing footprint and does not project beyond the building faces above. While the project technically increases measured height, which I'll be discussing next, the roof line does not change and no new above-grade massing is added, so the project does not increase the home's perceived bulk. Next slide, please. The applicant requests a variance to exceed the 30-foot height limit. Although the roof line will remain unchanged, measuring height from the new lowest finished floor to the top of the roof results in an overall height of 32.69 feet. This is a technical exceedance driven by the site's sloping condition and the city's measurement method, not an increase in visible massing. Requiring a redesign to comply could shift development above grade or expand the structure, potentially creating greater impacts to views, privacy, and perceived bulk. Accordingly, the variance is a reasonable response to the site constraints. In conclusion, the project is consistent with the applicable, sorry, next slide, please. In conclusion, the project is consistent with the applicable design guidelines, zoning standards, with the exception of the requested height variance, of course, and Arch Beach height standards. As detailed in the staff report, the required variance findings can be made, and the addition is compatible with the neighborhood and would not create significant impacts to views or privacy. Next slide, please. Since the agenda was published last week, staff received public correspondence in opposition, raising construction and air quality concerns, which have been added to the agenda as part of the public record. In response, staff is recommending additional special conditions related to pre-construction documentation, temporary construction fencing, and dust and debris control be incorporated into the conditions of approval as listed on the slide. Next slide, please. And staff recommends that the board approve the requested entitlements and find the action exempt from CEQA. This concludes staff's presentation, and I'm available for questions. Thank you.
Sherry, can you just go back to the special conditions? Let me just take a quick look at them.
Sure.
Maybe the board can just take a quick look. Are these conditions that are put on by building on plan approval, or are these something that are kind of, unique for this project?
Some of them are unique for this project. A lot of the conditions are similar to our standard building conditions, but in response to the concerns raised, which staff felt were legitimate, we are placing these additional building-related conditions, project-specific conditions onto the plan set.
Yeah, I in close-in construction, these are good conditions, and so we should think about doing them on other projects to the extent this is not something building does, but where it's appropriate, I would encourage staff to consider this, to build them into conditions in the initial agenda item. I like them, well-written. Okay, with that said, any other questions?
No, I was just going to concur what you said. It's common sense. It
I
should
was-
be standard.
And to go a step further, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole here, but the whole staging, remember the concept of staging? That was something that wasn't a condition that we were allowed to put on that I'm aware of. Is that something that would be considered? This feels the same thing as if it was staging.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering why this is okay.
A construction staging plan is still a requirement once they get to the building permit plan check phase.
but not a condition of approval.
It's part of our standard conditions of
Here,
approval.
yeah, where we get into it beyond the standard condition is if there's something special that we want to require, like up in Diamond Crest View where there's a real danger. So feel free, I would encourage board members to feel free to put additional staging requirements, not only on this project, but whatever project that you feel is appropriate. We do have that authority. All right, with that, any other questions? Patrick, do you have anything you want to add to that? Just to be sure.
Yeah, I mean, Chair, I was just going to say, I agree with everything you said. We would probably, caveat it with, condition, basically subject to the approval of the building and safety professionals in case we're not thinking of something that they see that says, hey, the reason why this staging caveat doesn't work is X, Y, and Z. But that was probably overkill. I apologize for interrupting.
No, and that's reasonable. Do we need to do it with these conditions or are these good?
We can go ahead and add that caveat to
Yeah.
the.
Yeah, with the motion, remember that, the caveat, if we get there. All right, Todd, you open the public hearing, you have 5 minutes.
Thank you. I'm Todd Skandarian, representing the Terhar family. Staff's introduction summarized our request for this application. Again, this is primarily an infill type project. Our external improvements are limited to hardscape, 3 windows and a door. None of those improvements face the adjoining property owners. They all face the rear. And as staff mentioned, the primary improvements are all contained within the footprint of the house. With regard to staff's construction conditions, we're fine with all of those, both the standard conditions and the site-specific conditions that were a result of discussing the project with the neighbors. In fact, I've had a chance to meet with the Code family who lives directly next door, as well as Deborah Ish, who lives directly across the street. They had some concerns about past construction on this property. Unfortunately, past construction on this property dealt with Poria incrustata, which is a house-eating fungus. It's something the owner discovered, and it took many months to eradicate. The owner had a very difficult time finding a contractor who wanted to take this kind of a project on. But he was successful in eradicating the Poria. Unfortunately for the neighbors, he wasn't well versed in dealing with neighbor concerns and dealing with neighbor issues. He did not have a lot of experience here in town, and I think that affected the neighbors. So going forward, the owner has made a commitment, if approved, to use a local contractor, one that has experience in dealing with neighbors. We're prepared to do a construction management plan or a construction staging plan. More importantly, we're prepared to have a pre-construction meeting with all of the neighbors, readdress their concerns, and have a successful project. Thank you.
Thank you, Todd. Any members of the public wish to speak? Come up now, and you'll have 3 minutes each, and state your name before you begin your comments. Right there. Thanks. Thanks.
Got to push on something? Nope. Okay. Hi, my wife and I were new to Laguna Beach. We just moved into the house in August, so we've heard the horror stories of the previous construction. So we wanted to get on record of what was going to happen to the construction. So my name's Hal Code. We live at the 1155 Catella, right next to them. So we share property line. Stairs, and there's no boundary, on those stairs. So you saw the email, so I appreciate your response, and I'm not going to go over all those. You kind of agreed. We met several times already. Really respect Todd. There's not too many contractors that I do respect, but Todd has been really quick on the response, and you guys have too. So I respect that. And I believe he will follow all those requirements that have been listed. And the staging and all that we'll be going over when that comes up for the contractors. And the dust control measurements is very crucial, especially with the asthma. That dust underneath there is really, really fine. That's why I really wanted to go over that, wetting it down. And then I understand that there's no ADU proposed at this time, but future changes will require a separate review. I understand that. I just wanted to make sure. I know some horror stories that people try to sneak under the radar on that. Again, thank you for addressing these concerns, and I appreciate the board's considerations. That's all I have.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to Laguna.
Oh, yeah, welcome to Laguna. Next speaker.
Thanks. I'm going to take a minute. My name's Deb Ishii. I bought my property in 1987 and have lived through many changes on our little dead-end street. It's a sweet corner of the world and a unique corner of Laguna to have landed. There's not one of us that lives up there that takes it for granted. We love our neighborhood. We've worked together successfully to keep peace and beauty. I live directly across the street from 1169, as do my neighbors Nick and Karina at 1164 Catella. Karina Prin wrote an excellent letter about her young family's concerns as we face the second round of construction at 1169. Nick and Karina would be here tonight, but are just days away from giving birth to a second little boy. Karina's letter to you details the concerns we have going into this project, as well as the controls we expect to be in place to ensure we don't repeat the nightmare we lived through during the first round of construction. It was uncontrolled, filthy, loud, and at times scary due to the cast of characters working on the job. The communication to resolve repeated issues that came up were challenging at best, as the owners are out of state. Frustrations ran high. I'm speaking tonight because I want the members of the design review to understand that this project at 1169 is not the only construction that's happened on this busy little dead end. In 2022, we have new owners immediately next to 1169 at the edge of the canyon at 1179 Catella. They came in, took the house down to the studs. The renovation was successfully completed in a year. We appreciate it and we're grateful for that. Jan and Ann's house started their repair at 1169 in September of 2023. Its timing overlapped with the major overhaul of yet another house that sits at the edge of the canyon immediately next to me at 1188. So the two projects were running in tandem for a while. Of the three houses that went under the knife in a span of 5 years, 1169 and 1188 both required major foundation footing work on top of the down to the studs remodels. The project at 1188, immediately next to me, is wrapping up this week after 2 very long years. They've had a talented general contractor on the site. The communication in response to issues of this massive renovation were appreciated. That's 5 years of nonstop chaos, to include rumbling trucks that have engines that often rattle my entire living space, the filth in the air from the demolition, the noise, the debris generated by the ever-present power tools that cut wood, that cut brick, and on. You see where I'm going. We have construction fatigue. That's all I'm going to say. We are so close to this property. When is it that people like myself that are retired, or Karina that's home with a baby, can live inside their houses in this absolutely gorgeous indoor-outdoor environment that we live in, and open up our doors and live our lives?
Excuse me, your time's up. I've let you run over.
I get it.
We
But
appreciate.
this is tough stuff. 5 years, nonstop, no breaks.
We get it. Thank you very much for your comments. Any other speakers? Seeing none, back to you, Todd, for 3.
Thank you. Again, I share Hal and Deborah's concerns about the prior construction, not just with this project and the Pori and Cressada event, but all of the construction on the street. I do have confidence in the owner that he will hire a GC that has local Laguna Beach experience. Hal and Deborah can call me anytime if they have issues and want to discuss something. They can call the contractor anytime, and I just know the owner's committed to having a different experience out there. Chair, can I take a minute to just thank Jessica as well?
Sure.
So Jessica, I want to thank you for everything. I think in the 6 years, I don't think there was a time where we didn't meet at one of my projects. It was enjoyable talking about the projects with you, but it was even better shooting the bull. I think we talked about everything from board members to city politics, sports, your trips, travels, relationships. That made my day. So thank you very much, and I hope you don't go too far.
I'm a Laguna tick forever.
There you go.
Thank you.
All right. With that, any questions of staff or anyone? Seeing none, close the public hearing. Who wishes to go first?
I know.
This one. So, Todd, I appreciate you taking the time to really try to work with the neighbors and address their concerns. I think the conditions that you're trying to set forth are probably some of the best practices I've seen on the board. So thank you for working with staff to really try to mitigate as best as possible with the project. As for the neighbors' concern, yeah, construction is tough. It's tough on the community. It's a reality that we deal with every week on this board. The hard part about that is just the general rule that everyone has a right to build and create the right of enjoyment for their property. When we go through booms like we've done over the last 5 years in the real estate market with a lot of transactions and changing hands, also comes new folks with new bathroom ideas, new ideas for those homes. Archbeach Heights is also a unique area where some of those homes weren't necessarily the most structurally sound structures, and they've gotten to a point of age that they need these refurbishments. And that's happening in droves up in that area. And I recognize it. We do try to take care of it with the construction staging or recommendations as set forth for tonight. We are conscious of those concerns as they go forward, but we do try to hear you. But it is part of just kind of the world we live in, that you have the right to build in your property, that your neighbors do as well. I currently live in a house that's got 5 different projects within the immediate vicinity of it. We all kind of go through it. So we feel your pain, but we do try to work with it. And I think what's put forth tonight is some of the best practices. As for the project goes, the infill development is well compatible with the design review. I also find the variance very consistent with some of these downhill type homes that we've approved in this area and other areas in Laguna. So to deny that would be a denial of right of enjoyment for your property, which I don't think is the appropriate course. The project's fully designed review compatible. The view of privacy has all been mitigated, and I can fully support the project this evening.
Okay, let me go second. I just want to add a few comments on, because first of all, I agree with the project. It's a very approvable project. In fact, there would not be any grounds for us not to approve it. It has no impact. The variance is called for when you go below to an existing building roof height. It can create an issue with exceeding the ordinance allowable height, and we almost always allow that by way of variance. Otherwise, this has no impact except the construction. Your frustration and I'm talking to the resident, is totally understandable. We get it. And it's really important, that building department and staff understands it as well. I'm just a little discouraged or disappointed that you didn't get any relief from building when this was going on. Maybe you did, I wasn't there. But the other thing I'll point out is that Todd Skidarian is a longtime architect in this town. And he knows the local contractor, and he's made some commitments to the board. And I've known Todd for a long time. I can give you at least my experience with Todd as he lives up with those commitments. And one of the commitments he made is that if you have a problem on this project, call him. And I know Todd will take your call and address it. So we can't say no to this project because of other construction on the street. I think Louis made a point that, do we deny you, if you decide to do a project, do we deny yours because there's other construction on the street, even bad construction previously? There shouldn't be bad construction. You should not have gone through that experience. I'm taking you at your word. I wasn't there. But hopefully you'll understand that this is an approvable project. We really would, if we're consistent with what we're supposed to do, have to approve the project, but we would anyway because it is a legitimate approvable project. And let's keep an open mind. Let's everybody make this construction work. Any other comments?
I can agree. I think you guys both so eloquently touched on all the pain points. The only thing I have to add is Todd is a gentleman handshake kind of guy, where even if it wasn't a legality, he would still stay on his word. So hopefully that gives you some reassurance and allows you to sleep better at night. And then on the positive note, there's a lot of growth happening in Arch Beach. All your property values are skyrocketing. So keep that in the back of your mind. Just try to meditate through it, and hopefully the contractor, whoever Todd recommends for this project, will do the best that he can to make sure that noise and air pollution is minimized.
Yeah, I concur with my colleagues. I think you have a stellar guy here that will definitely won't give you lip service like some people do in this city that have been here a long time. And he will actually fulfill his requirement as a community member and as a well-respected architect. So I think you're safe there. I think this project is design review compatible, meets our criteria, minimal impact in excavating, and has no impact on view or privacy, two of my most biggest concerns. So I can approve the project tonight.
MJ? Emir?
I
You're
agree with MJ and the rest of the board. I think this project is design review compatible. Could also make the findings for the variance. I think they're well taken in this site, utilizing the existing space. If anyone was down there, you could see that it's pretty ready to go for a project. So that should hopefully minimize dust and considerations of that nature. So I'd like to make a motion to approve this project.
Emir, go ahead.
I'd like to make the motion to adopt resolution 2025-25-2507, approving design review 2025-2507 and variance 2025-2508 for the property located at 1169 Catella Street, and findings that action categorically exempt pursuant to CEQA section guidelines 15301 and 15305. And the special conditions as outlined by staff.
Yeah.
Including the caveat about.
Including the
With the caveat.
Right, so
subject to building and safety.
I'll second that.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Call the roll.
Board Member Belta,
Yes.
Board Member Coveney,
Yes.
Board Member Weil,
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Gannon,
Yes.
Chair Gibbs.
Yes.
Motion has passed 5-0.
Good.
Thank you.
Take care. All right, let's go to the next one, moving right along here, 5.8 at 855 La Vista Lane, design review 2026-0278, coastal development permit 2026-0279, variance 2026-0280, ex parte, please.
Chair, I had a site visit with Greg Abel.
I did the same, and I also spoke with Warren.
Spoke with the dynamic duo and visited the site.
I drove by the site.
And I met with Warren and Greg at the site.
Thank
We get yours, MJ? Yeah, okay. Good. So, Mr. Khan, you're up again.
All right, good evening, board. This is item number 5.8, request for design review, coastal development permit, and variance approval for an ADU with a deck encroaching into a water course setback area located at 855 La Vista Drive. Next slide, please.
Oh. Renderings here, anything?
Sorry, give me a quick second.
All right. The subject property is approximately 36,000 square feet in area and is located at 855 La Vista Drive. It's currently developed with an approximately 2,700 square foot two-story residence and a two-car garage. A mapped water course traverses through the site as well. Next slide, please. The proposed project includes development of a new 972 square foot detached ADU shown on the slide in yellow, with a 136 square foot elevated deck shown in orange and associated site improvements. The improvements include associated grading, parameter stairs surrounding the ADU, installation of an air conditioning unit, and retaining walls exceeding 5 feet in exposed height located on the north side of the ADU shown in bright green. As you can see, a watercourse shown in blue traverses this area of the lot, and encroachment within the watercourse setback area requires approval of a variance. Next slide, please. As mentioned earlier, a 136 square foot, 6 foot high elevated deck is proposed attached to the ADU, which is subject to design review. The proposed deck is minimal in scale and does not contribute to visual mass, and is consistent with the architectural character of the proposed ADU. Next slide, please. The elevation and rendering shown on the slide show the deck and the retaining wall exceeding 5 feet in exposed height, shown in bright green. And the retaining wall is also subject to design review. It's located at the northeast side of the ADU. It's L-shaped and wraps along the north and east sides, defining the required fire access path. Next slide, please. Property is constrained by the presence of a mapped watercourse and its associated 25-foot watercourse setback area. While the historic drainage feature has been substantially altered and runoff is now conveyed through a subterranean storm drain system installed by the city, the mapped setback continues to apply despite the absence of a functioning natural watercourse. A utility easement exists over the storm drain infrastructure, which the proposed ADU does not encroach upon. The project's improvements are limited in scale, designed to maintain existing drainage patterns, and do not introduce conditions that would increase flooding, erosion, or instability on the site or adjacent parcels. All grading and construction activities will be required to comply with applicable building, drainage, and engineering standards to ensure safe development. Next slide, please. In conclusion, the project is consistent with the applicable design guidelines, zoning standards, with the exception of the requested watercourse encroachment variance. And as detailed in the staff report, the required variance findings can be made, and the addition is, and the AD is compatible with the neighborhood and would not create significant impacts to views or privacy. Next slide, please. Since the agenda was published last week, staff received public correspondence in opposition, raising concerns about record sufficiency, which have been added to the agenda as part of the public record. And then staff recommends that the board approve the requested entitlements and find the action exempt from CEQA. This concludes staff's presentation, and I'm available for questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. With that, any questions? Seeing none, I open the public hearing. You have 5 minutes.
Hi, everyone. So we dealt extensively with Public Works on every utility that's running through that property. That one plan, Sharia, that you showed, the site plan, I obtained all those from Public Works, mapped them, met with them, made sure that we're clear of all easements. The variance for the, let's say, highly modified watercourse is typical. I think we just had we just had approval on one a couple weeks ago in Bluebird. There, I believe. Well, I think to me, obviously, what Public Works and the city is realizing that there are highly modified watercourses all over town. This one was put in what, like 20 years ago.
About 20 years.
It's subterranean pipe. It hasn't failed. Goes straight down the middle of the property. They got an easement for it. There's a sewer easement. There's a electrical easement. All kinds of stuff on this property. So this variance is not at all unlike others that you've approved quite recently, and I believe will be approving in the future. And Greg, did you?
Yeah, well, Warren made a good point. I did work some time with Bill Rodriguez and the rest of the team to figure out what's going on with these modified watercourses to help a lot of people in Laguna Beach and my fellow architects and designers. So the setback is 5 feet from the center line of above a watercourse that's been modified, not 25 feet like the old days, which you folks saw 2 weeks ago for Mr. Frias at 868 Bluebird. So, and we did design this property to be simple, clean lines, nothing too fancy, just clean, not encroach into people's views. Our next door neighbors, Arjuna and Lucy, have been very good friends. I designed their remodels and their additions. They're currently living back east right now, so they're renting their property. And I know we're going to get some comments from our neighbors down the street, so I'll just quiet down now and see how we do.
So
Okay.
just to add a little bit, there is some runoff from the
Oh, yeah.
property.
Yeah.
That it's dirt there at the end of Virginia Park Drive. This will help get rid of the dirt. Certainly, as we get to the building department, we will obviously we'll keep all staging materials on the property, all workers on the property, all parking on the property. It's a big area down there. So that's all I got too.
And one last comment, about 2 years ago, you may have heard we had a landslide below the home above us at Chase Offield's house. And it flooded and wiped out walkways, all of our grass, all the dirt came down the street. So I know that our neighbors also went through a little bit of horror and scariness because all that mud that came way down from our upper neighbor, who of course associated with the project and fixed it for us together. We did try to clean up that mudslide as fast as possible with respect to our friends down the street at Virginia Park. Thank you.
All right, I'm open the public hearing is already open. Speakers, please come up. You'll have 3 minutes each. State your name first.
Good evening. I'm Ben Simon at 661 Virginia Park Drive. Thank you, Jessica. You've been amazing over the last 6 years, you really have. This is the first I heard from Warren about parking on site, but my concerns are regarding the construction period and its negative effects on my street and neighborhood where the proposed ADU is actually located. The staff report states that the access will be from La Vista Drive. This relates to the completed ADU, and it is not necessarily true during the construction. Warren, in an email, stated that ample parking is available and will be used for construction on site, including staging. But where and how it is accessed is unclear. The location of the ADU, coupled with the topography of the site and common sense, implies that the ADU will be built accessed Virginia Park Drive and not La Vista Drive. To date, neither Greg nor Warren had replied to my inquiry about this. I sent them both an email. Everyone on Virginia Park Drive is quite concerned about what happens to us and our street during construction, assuming La Vista is not used. We are a tiny, narrow, one-way street with extremely limited parking to begin with. Some of the homes have no garages and no driveways at all. Beginning this June, the new problem at the high school will be under construction, which will exacerbate the parking problem. Plus, a massive new build on Hillage is coming this summer. We are simply requesting that the Abel's current fence located at the end of Virginia Park Drive is, and this would be a condition of approval, temporarily relocated, moved way back on their biggest site in Laguna Beach to accommodate 100% of their construction parking and staging areas. If the workers park on our street, we will not have any room for ourselves, our guests, or our service people. While the water course is technically modified, the still street gets major amounts of mud, gravel, and debris from the Abels during the heavy rains. At one point, I heard that Greg had promised a mutual neighbor sandbags, but it didn't happen. We just clean it up over and over, but our time and our water is valuable. Please help the residents of Virginia Park Drive during this period of construction, as we really need your assistance and are very worried. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next speaker.
Hi, Linda Morgan Lander, 671 Virginia Park Drive. Hi, Mayor. I just wanted to echo what Ben, first of all, thank you, Jessica. You're fabulous. But anyway, good luck. I just want to echo what Ben said. We have a real issue with parking on Virginia Park, and I'm really hoping that all of the parking for construction workers will be off the street. The other thing is that technically, the water course doesn't function like a water course, but it kind of does. When we had our big rains in the past few months, and I know he's cleaned up the mudslide, but it's still, the runoff comes right down, right to my house with the rocks and the mud right there, and it makes a turn, and nothing's been done with sandbagging. So I'm a little bit suspicious about how this is going to go down. So I'm hoping that they build in some kind of a of a system to catch all of the debris. I'm supportive of the project. I just have the parking and the mud concerns. And also I wanted to refer you to Robin Williams Jr.'s letter. He sent something that was very profound, I think. He's very, very affected by it. He has a very, very ill dad, and his mother is not well either. And this is going to really affect them the most. So with the trucks coming in and out, I hope that there's a good rapport with the contractor and that it is a happy project. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other speakers? Come on up.
Hello. Hi, my name's Craig Brachet. I live at 651 Virginia Park Drive, and I've been there for about 50 years. So I've known the family for a long time as well. I'm coming in support of Robin Williams, who couldn't be here himself, and in support of his father and mother, who have been on that street as long as I have. They had some questions on their letter, which brought up questions for me that I hadn't addressed with the applicant yet. But one of the questions was the size, including storage. So I know that an ADU can be a certain size, but I don't know if the square footage of the storage is also included in that. Including the storage, I think this gets up to about 1,800 square feet or maybe a little bit more. So I don't know what the requirements are there. I'm basically asking the question. It also states in the approval that vehicular access will be made off of La Vista. I don't know how they're going to get from La Vista down to this house. I didn't see any stairs from La Vista down to the house, so it looks to me like vehicular access is actually coming from Virginia Park Drive. So I just wanted some clarity on that as well. Unfortunately, we've had a number of fire trucks on our street in the last couple of years for different issues. And then it brought up the question for me is how does fire service how is it dealt with on this street? This is at the very end of a very narrow street on Virginia Park. And if there's a fire emergency, I don't know how the fire truck's going to get up there, turn around, do whatever they do. I don't know if there's even water up there to handle for the fire truck. So it's really a question I'm asking at this point in time. Obviously, parking during construction has been addressed. As you know, we're going to have a new pool built around the corner, which you guys don't have anything to do with. But we're already starting to see significant parking coming up the street from the students taking what little spots we have on the street. So a few questions, a few issues to address, and I'm supportive of what Ben and Linda said as well. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other speakers?
Anybody?
All right, with that, turn it to the applicant. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you. So, earlier with Todd's project where there was discussion about a responsible builder. This is the responsible builder as far as I'm concerned. Clean sites, happy neighbors, forever resident. He knows how to build. He knows how to keep it clean. You should see the construction sites. They're immaculate. They come in every day and sweep it up. There are, showed on the plans, stair access from La Vista down to the ADU. Clearly, they're required fire department site access stairs. All the parking, as I said, and staging will be on site 100%. There's no reason to park anywhere else. The lot is huge. That area down there, it can hold 10 cars, 10 trucks, whatever. I was going to say more, but
well, I think to back up what he's saying, yes, we have a large area there. You all saw that, pull our cars in there. You saw that one tractor still there from picking up all the debris from our landslide that took place 2 years ago. So in respect from our neighbors down the street, we will definitely let that whole space be our parking spot for construction and not anywhere parked in front of the Williams family or Arjuna and Lucy, all of our friends and neighbors, all that. So we'll definitely respect that. And there is access from the street at the end of La Vista. There's always been brick stairs coming all the way down to the greenhouse, which is right behind our ADU has been there since 1937. And the stairs will go down and connect also to the ADU as well as from down below. So we'll do what we can to be very, very sensitive to their needs. And I respect the parking issue. They talked about the pool, because already I've noticed how many more kids are coming up, not only in their electric bikes, but their cars on Manzanita and all the way up La Vista in the last couple of weeks, because it's going to be happening soon. So thank you.
All right, let me ask a quick question.
Yeah,
So
Tom.
just I want to confirm, you're agreeable to make as a condition that all parking, construction parking and staging will be on property?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I respect that.
Any other
Yes.
questions?
I do. Are you offering a dedicated parking pad? I know it's not a requirement because they're like I parked at your driveway up top and
Yes,
we
you
were able
did.
to walk down.
Yes.
But would you consider an off-street parking pad
Yes.
by the ADU?
Sure. I'd be okay with
It would help with the access and
possible.
usability.
Sorry,
doable.
could
I
I,
mean-
could, maybe. could
Yeah,
you,
no,
ask?
Mr. Khan, is that possible?
This parking pad would have to actually be on the adjacent property, which is also owned by Mr. Abel, 700 Virginia Park. Staff, I mean, I can't say with confidence right now what that would look like. We'll have to evaluate the access dimensions.
We can make it a condition that the, assuming staff can make it work, it will be required.
Yeah.
It seems like it's a large enough lot, even if it was not a required, it could just be a compacted grade.
Yeah, dedicated parking pad.
Yeah.
But as Warren said, we parked as many during the slide problem for cleanup. I parked as many as 6 trucks in that spot there, 3 wide, two back to back, just to pick up the debris. And I will say, in most of my construction sites, the one I'm doing on Summit, the one up on Doran Court, even in those areas there, we were able to keep it down to a majority, just a minor part. And if they have to park somewhere else, we don't have them blocking other neighbors' driveways either.
Perfect.
Can
And then
When somebody else's truck, leave theirs down the street.
And then for my next question, so when you were talking about the neighbors were talking about the flooding that came through there, the storage, was that strategic so that in case, in the event of another flood, that doesn't affect the living space? Because like on the East Coast, we have, in Delaware, we have, it's underwater, it's below sea level, so we have a
Right.
lot of floods. So our houses are built on top of storage spaces and built on top of garages. So was that part of your strategic plan design?
So I used to work in South Carolina in the flood area. Their flood height is
Yeah.
8 feet. So everything, all mechanical has to be at 8 feet. It wasn't designed specifically for that, but
Yeah,
it would
right.
certainly, it helps raise the house up out of 5 feet out of the ground,
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
while still keeping the maximum heights.
And one thing we can do, the drain you see right there in front of the property that the city put in years ago that connects itself to the drain pipe down below, that was put in when they came on our property to take care of some of the water and came down the hillsides, not so much the old water course. So we can embrace that drainage area there with a grate on it there, Tom, and be sure with the water that comes in there from the property can drain it as well, though.
So that it funnels.
Yeah.
I might
Make
say
good
that,
use of- yeah.
I mean, it could be nice to maybe make a suggestion. This might not be the actual place to do it, but to have Public Works take a look at that inlet because,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, there's still water coming off down the property, and that grate there should certainly be improved.
Yes.
to catch some
Let me ask this question. It's all in the same
Sure, Lou.
line. So
Yes.
if I'm looking at the topography survey, like you have your lot, the lot across the way, but there's probably like a 10-foot separation. Is that an easement or is that a separate parcel that's like the road
That,
extension?
yeah, that used to be the end of Virginia Park Drive. It's 12 feet wide.
Okay.
That was abandoned during
Yeah.
the process
Yes.
of designing and permitting the house that never got built.
The one across the way?
Yes.
All right.
So I guess, again, I can't require it part of this application, but I might encourage you to go through the process to do the road extension. So you asphalt up to, at some point, that storm drain, if your desired
Yes,
success is
absolutely.
on the lower portion of
Yeah,
the
we would
lot.
definitely get rid of the dirt.
Obviously, it doesn't have a
but-
nexus for an ADU
Yes.
to require that, but it would be heavily encouraged as for the buildable site that's across the way,
Yeah.
that's completely separate, that's also your ownership. Probably be in the best interest that you get that road.
Yeah, I think the
extension
asphalt would
done
be
at some
better, Lou, as opposed to gravel and sand, because that'll roll down the street to my neighbors. So I'm
That, in that process, that'll help take care of the drainage to
Yep.
get into that vault.
control the water and pave it nicely. That'd be good.
Let me ask about something, because this project really bothers me about the water course. The inlet that's right, going to be within feet of the new ADU, can that be improved so that water or excess runoff, let's say in the event, and I don't know if you've studied or they studied a 100-year storm where that culvert up above gets caught. But I've had cases where culverts have gotten jammed, restoring the modified water course. And this building is going way into the water course, area, and it makes me nervous. But there is a drain there, and looking down below property,
Yes.
let me talk to him. I understand where you guys are coming from. You and I talked about this a little bit. It looks like if the water can be picked up by that drain, that provides an extra element of protection in the event the culvert gets caught or if there's a mudslide. So I don't know if you guys looked at that, but that's something, can that be something that is built into a condition that the building can make sure is done effectively? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, you're talking about the one that's sort of right.
It'd be right
Just-
next
just
to,
inside of Virginia
and then a
Park Drive,
condition that it be
based of the
kept clear and maintained, that whole thing.
Yeah, I would say staff is certainly happy to talk to Public Works
Yeah.
about looking into that. I don't know that we can condition it. I'm not sure that there's a nexus with this project. It's a city.
It can be a
it-
direction from
it-
us.
It would be, yeah. I think we can take, a direction from the dais. Staff will certainly have the conversation with the Public Works management staff to look into that. It is a city, easement. It's a city facility. There's probably, like a capital improvement process we'd have to go through in order to improve it.
And
but we can
it's a
certainly-
city culvert up above,
Yeah.
and the city's obligated to keep it clear. In the event of a storm, they do that anyway.
They access your property to evaluate it every so often, don't they? I mean, you got a sign there for city officials to enter the project.
Absolutely.
That was for the mudslide that happened.
yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, no, that clarifies it for me.
I just had a quick question about the storage. The lower level storage, what's the material on the front of that? It looks like some sort of grating. Is that open air? Is that?
It's, well, it's a door. It's a sliding door.
Sliding doors?
Yeah.
Oh, and then the upstairs storage as well has windows, quite a
It's
few
It's
windows
just
and a deck
ventilation for the attic is up there. Yeah.
coming off
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
And it also seems to have an excessive amount of ceiling space above it. Even though you only have a 5-foot plate height, you have an additional like 3 feet of soffit. Why,
True,
why,
actually, but
why would you do that?
design articulation.
Oh, okay.
Give us a break.
Sharia, why is storage not part of the square footage?
It's because it's considered non-habitable. In this case, both storage areas are 5 feet in height, which therefore sort of disqualified from the habitable status.
So they just dropped it enough and then added a soffit. So how do we control something like that, once we walk away, that they then extend their ceiling heights inside and make it an accessible living?
Sure. So even if they do extend the ceiling height, in this case, it's not going to cause any zoning problems because it would still meet the maximum 16-foot height because of the terraced design.
How about the
of
square
ADU.
footage?
Square footage, no, it would increase the volume, but it won't increase.
I
the
thought
square
there was a
foot.
limit. There's not a limit on square footage with ADUs.
There is, but I think at least the square footage on the top is not going to interfere.
But the bottom, if
But
you
the
added
bottom-
both of them together,
Yeah.
it became a full-on
Yeah, but the storage area at the bottom is not accessible from the living area of the ADU. It's sort of beneath the
Yeah.
elevated deck area.
And it's only 5 foot in height,
Yes.
right?
See,
Yeah,
yeah.
Three
and
foot
the minimum is 7 feet for 7.6. Yeah.
It would change the review of it would no longer qualify as an ADU if that upstairs storage space is increased to be livable space, right?
No,
So they can't get around that.
Correct. So I think actually condition number one probably speaks to this, which is the plans that you're approving today are the plans that we expect to be, happen in the field. And if there's anything that changes in that, then it has to come back to the city. We look at it.
And that's
again.
in-
If they
And
want to
if we
add.
increase the height so
Seems
that it could be
like it
qualified
would.
as habitable space, then that adds to square footage, and then that potentially raises other issues under the code.
And that would have to come
be
back
looked
to
at,
us.
And that potentially would have to come back to the board. So I think it's sort of a self-effectuating control that regulates what the size of this ADU is going to look like. So what you see on the plans is what's before you to be approved, and that's what would be permitted and expected to be built, and no changes happening in the field.
Yes.
Right, well said, but like, if they vault the ceiling, it doesn't add any square footage. It just adds volume.
Yeah, only and
Right.
if they make it livable, that's different.
Correct, but to Shariar's point, it's designed at a 5 foot height now. If you were to increase or vault the ceiling in some
this-
way, you get over 7 feet in height, that potentially qualifies
Makes
as
it
habitable
into-
space. Then that becomes square footage, and then that adds to the roughly, I believe 970.
Yeah, and I think we have to follow that. The condition states that the said plans are approved as submitted and conditioned herein and shall not be altered unless reviewed and approved in accordance with Title 25. So I don't think we can disapprove an ADU because of the
Oh, no,
potential
no,
of
no. Yeah, I
additional
just was
space.
curious. That's, yeah.
But the safety valve is,
Yeah. And then just access, because I'm sorry, I didn't get to meet you up there. Access for the ADU for cars, bicycles, whatever, is from the lower area.
It's from lower, there is access to Virginia Park Drive. There's also access to
So you
La
have two
Vista.
points of access
Correct.
on this lot.
Yeah, the fire department access stairs wrap around, go both.
Okay.
Tough spot.
Right.
Okay.
I do.
I know this-
all right, any other questions?
Deliberations.
Yeah, let me close the public hearing and let me talk briefly about the water course issue just to get the board the benefit of my views, then I'll turn it over on the other issues. This is a significant encroachment into the water course, and it causes me very much concern because I've seen what happens when culverts are clogged up and a water course is interfered with. And we have to find essentially in this case that this water course is not so impacted that we can't otherwise make the findings for the variance. And the ADU law doesn't help them. We are entitled to reject this project if we can't find the grounds justifying a variance given the encroachment in the water course. I walked it. I actually went back and walked it again. I lean in favor of the project. I was very close to saying no, that you got to pull back that ADU. It's so close to the water course. But if you look at the kind of the overall thing, if there's a mudslide, it's going to be a problem, but I don't think that's going to impact it. I think it's going to impact the ADU more than it's going to impact the neighborhood. In fact, a lot more. I think what I worry about is a heavy rain, 100-year rain. And I think with that drain that's there right by it, it's right in front of your property and it needs to be, with the motion, I'll make a direction. I'll follow that by assuming the board otherwise approves this project, that be built in, that the grading be done. And I tell you, Greg, this is for your own benefit because you're going to get your butt sued putting that there if there is a water 100-year flood and your ADU comes off its foundations and runs into another house. Don't laugh, it can happen. It has to be a pretty bizarre incident, but it can happen.
Yes.
But I think having that alternative course for in the event that there is a heavy rain for your own runoff, it's a very big drain to begin with.
Yes.
So I would direct building and I would strongly suggest to you that you you build around that drain to take maximum effect of that drain in the event of a storm which partially or totally, but potentially partially blocks the uphill culvert, causing a water deluge. Okay, so I'll leave it to the other people. I otherwise think the project's fine. I mean, I'm not bothered by the storage personally. I think it meets the guidelines. With that, Louis, you want to go next?
Oh, here, I can go ahead.
Oh.
He's stuttering. And I can piggyback off of what you said. Yeah, I'm overall supportive of the project. I think unknowingly, it was a brilliant design having the storage unit underneath just for the fact of the case there's a 100-year flood, it gives protection to the living space. All the objective findings can be met. Site coverage satisfies that. Landscape open space, it's large lot, so that was easily accomplished. And then, yeah, if you just look at off-street parking, if you can, it just makes it easier for when your kids are there that, let's say your daughter-in-law is pregnant, she doesn't want to go up and down those stairs, it's not safe. I know I'm not as sure-footed as I used to be, and I was able to make it, but, so think of your future daughter-in-law's future and just create a little parking pad. It also, like board members Weil said, it also helps like for the mud that will eventually come down, it helps mitigate that. And then, yeah, storage access, dedicated parking pad. Yeah, I mean, it hits all the design review criteria. I can make all the findings for the variance, and we approved just last board meeting 2 weeks ago, one in Bluebird, and then the board approved one in January in Woods Cove on Glen Eyrie. So yeah, I can approve this project.
Louis?
Yeah, so I do, just like the other board members are saying, I do find this variance to be consistent with a modified watercourse variance. It's something we've approved not only in this area, but in kind of the surrounding piped watercourses in the nearby vicinity. So I think it's appropriate. I do think, I would highly recommend trying to get the street improvements to get up at least to that drain, so it minimizes some of the debris and also helps the drainage of the impacts of this area to get to the storm drains. So that's why they're built. So it should be able to take that as it's currently draining into that storm drain now. And it wouldn't create any more water than what's there. As far as the ADU, I find it compatible with the law and generally meets the intent of the context. So it's design review compatible, and I can support this project.
Thank you.
Eber? MJ?
Okay. I'm just not completely clear on the water course, so I'm not sure I can vote on this. I might have to abstain on this one. I don't like that they're impeding it. I have to trust staff on this, but I don't feel, does a hydro get done at some point? Does someone come in and test all this prior to us approving it? Because I thought in the past, we've always had hydros on this kind of stuff.
So
We made them do it on Glen Eyre.
we have in the past. I think the reason we didn't do it here is for a couple of reasons, but maybe just from a little bit of a historical context. My understanding is that the watercourse maps that are now sort of memorialized within the GIS system that staff looks at when they're reviewing these projects was developed in the 1970s or thereabout. This watercourse was at some point in the past, obviously was on the surface running through the property. About 1999, 2000 is when the city acquired an easement through the property and then went through with our public works department the process of designing this modified watercourse where we built in it for Mr. Khan, I believe it was an 18-inch diameter pipe, and that is actually connected to a catch basin up further up on Skyline that comes underneath the street and then drops down into this property and then continues to points further west. So that was done about 25 years ago. As Mr. Warren Hutcherson had mentioned, there's been no, at least not to our knowledge, any failures of that system over the last 25 years. And so what was a surface watercourse has now been placed into a pipe. There is a grate that's on the site that picks up some of the whatever water runoff that just lands on the property itself. But in terms of the larger watershed that used to flow through that area, that's been piped, picked up on Skyline Drive, taken under the property. So we're dealing with sort of like the localized water that maybe hits some of the slopes conveys down to the lower portions of the property should then mostly be picked up by the grate that was referenced in these conversations, taken underground. There may still be some water that is just sort of nuisance water, just runs off of the property and down a portion of Virginia Park. But the reason we didn't do the hydro studies is because we're placing more faith in the analysis that was done by the city's Public Works Department when this project was designed many years ago. And as most good engineers will do, there's always going to be an additional buffer zone that's accounted for in terms of the overall design when they're analyzing how much water needs to be picked up and conveyed off that site. So we're trusting that the public works system is designed well. It hasn't, to our knowledge, shown any deficits over the last 25 years. And so the faith is just placed into that system, and knowing that it is a city easement, it is a city facility. And so if there do become problems in the future, that we can control that solution and that revised design if necessary.
And I'm sorry, point out one other thing, the drain that's right next to it is designed to pick up the water that's running below the culvert, and it's a big drain. That's why it kind of alleviates some of my concern. The other thing that alleviates my concern, even if the culvert has a failure, is the water will go down the street into culverts below. It's not like running right into a house. So notwithstanding that we've been in other projects, we need to look at each one where the water course is still there, guys. I mean, yeah, there's a pipe underneath, but it's still a water course. It's not like the water course has been moved laterally. But like I say, I totally get your concerns, MJ, and I'm very close on this one.
I've got a question for staff. Could they implement some kind of a driveway off of that street that could be functional as a parking, even though there's not a permanent spot there? It could be a driveway to access the ADU.
I don't think that's going to be possible, considering the fact that 700 Virginia Park Drive is a separate parcel. So accommodating a parking space on that individual parcel for the potential vehicular needs of the ADU, it's going to be tricky. And then especially considering the narrow width of Virginia Parkway Drive over there, it narrows in and then ultimately goes to like maybe 3 or 4 feet wide, a strip essentially. So, and then, yeah, it would impede any future development plans for 700 Virginia Park Drive as well. And then I'd like to point out that the ADU itself is exempt from parking requirements.
Copy that. I mean, is it going to be, is the intent that you're going to drive up to the ADU? Full candidness, would love to ask this question to the applicant.
Sorry,
Open it
say
up.
that
You
again?
can.
Do you intend on using the access that you have down below to drive up to the ADU off of Virginia Park?
That's not the intent, but I'm sure that would probably happen once in a while, but
There's a
no
possibility,
parking
Mayor,
there
yeah.
for that.
So is there any way to add a portion of just padded area that may or may not be used for parking that you probably will use for parking as part of this program?
Well, that sounds kind of like the same thing that Jessica was alluding to or asking for. So the end of Virginia Park that was abandoned, the street part, half of it went to 700, the other half went to 855. There is some room there.
There is, yeah.
Probably. So it was a 12-foot wide strip, leaving 6 feet. And then, but then that 6 feet is right up to where there's grade break, right?
Yeah, it's pretty narrow. It would be insufficient for vehicular access.
Yeah, I mean,
Greg, do you own
we'd love to
700?
What's that?
You own 700?
Yes.
Yeah, so wouldn't it
Well-
make sense to apply for the variance?
So if I maybe could clarify,
Sorry.
his daughter actually owns 700 and his son owns 855. So
family.
it's not necessarily their property, if you know what I mean. if you follow that.
So I'm following Emir, is
yeah.
just for dealing with the water runoff or for just adding as parking?
I think it's more about access, even if this comes up in the future, even if they go forward with the other bill that 700 that was previously approved. So at some point, someone's going to want access to that roadway. I think it's,
Exactly.
yeah, it makes sense to do it in this, potentially in this application, because if you transfer it and then you allow for both uses of it and then you design it as a shared space, do it now because you're going to use it. It'd be worth the effort to just get it done because you plan on parking there.
I would have a question that I would direct to you, Emir, maybe to ask staff, how would that work? So would that, it appears to me would be a lot line adjustment of some sort, and I'm not
There's a
sure if you
property
can-
on the backside of Riddle
Yeah,
Field.
I don't think
off
we,
of
I don't think
Oakview.
we can condition
Well, hang on.
including parking on another lot.
Well, hang on. There's a property on the backside of Allview Terrace that goes to there's a park in the back. There's a city park in the back. I can't think of the name of it. It's a private residence that was donated back in, I want to say the late 70s or 80s. And it used to be city controlled, it used to be city owned, and they deeded it to Allview Terrace, which allowed Allview Terrace to maintain their driveway. So I think it can be done. It's just, it's going to require doing it now, because worst case scenario, what happens if that property gets sold off, then neither parcel will have access in the future. I think that could be daunting.
So I think my question then would be, if I may, would that then require a lot line adjustment?
I think we're kind of getting a little ahead of ourselves here because we can't require a parking space. There's certainly access issues, but that's not subject to our review of the ADU, Emir.
Is access part of our ADU?
No.
DRB review.
I guess we could tie it to the variance.
Well, the variance has to
Yeah,
do
the
with the
variance is for
water
the water course, and so, yeah, I would, once again, for what it's worth, and I believe Chair Gibbs, you've said that conditioning a parking pad on a different distinct parcel is not advisable. Now, once again, if the applicant wants to agree and say, hey, we're going to put a pad here or there, I'm not going to say stand in the way, but I want the board to know that that's not going to be a formal condition, because once again, we have no idea in the future.
So let me ask you guys, are you willing? I mean, this is a time that, I don't know if we can even approve a pad on another parcel. So I'm not sure if we wanted to, we could do it even if you were agreeable.
I tend to agree. I mean, we would certainly look into it, but I think it would be it would probably require a lot line adjustment. And I'm not even sure if you can lot line adjust an abandoned street.
Well, if the abandoned street became yours,
It is our street.
you could turn it into an easement to continue your like an access easement to keep your buildable lots that were gifted to your kids.
Yes.
I mean,
Accessible, which I
Yes.
think regardless of what your kids want to do with it, whether they build or sell them,
Yeah.
you're historically, you're going to want that access to be provided to those.
Yeah, but the
lots.
problem is, that's great. You should do it if you can. We can condition approval on you obtaining that easement, but we can't under this application because it's an ADU. But if you are agreeable to that condition, we can, and it would facilitate your ability to do it. Once you got the easement, you'd have the approval for it.
I don't think that would be advisable. That's a long.
Yeah, my suggestion there is you need, it would be good for you to have that parking and to build it into this project, particularly if you ever sell the
I
thing.
agree with that too.
And so
Nice.
I would do that by way of a separate application in
And
Cantley. I
also
think,
one more comment too, Tom, because we want to control the water that flows down to that grid, that grate there,
Mhm.
that can also be associated with the parking area too, to direct the water. And that'll be a nice thing too, Amir. We could do it. But it's our property, so why not?
But I would disagree with
you
that.
probably could get that done by way of administrative design review or over the counter, right? They wanted to put do an easement and put in a,
You think, Bill, that's possible? No, I just want to make just opportunity.
Yes, all right. So I think any other deliberation? All right, let me try to do the motion here, if you guys don't mind.
It's pretty, it's.
Give me a second. Okay, I move that the board adopt resolution 2026-0278, approving design review 2026-0278 coastal development permit 2026-0279 and variance 2026-0280 for the property located at 855 La Vista Drive and finds said action categorically exempt pursuant to CEQA guideline 1503 with direction to the building department and strong suggestion to the applicant to make sure that the drain that's in front of the proposed ADU, that grade is done to maximize that drain usage
Yes.
and that drain is maintained in a clear and functional manner.
Yes.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Call the roll, please.
Board Member Belta,
Abstain.
Board Member Coveney,
Abstain.
Board Member Weil,
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Gannon,
Yes.
Chair Gibbs.
Yes.
Motion is passed 3-2.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Chair,
Alrighty.
thank you.
Thank you very much. Next item will be, do you guys want to take a break now or after the next item?
Let's just keep charging. Let's just.
You guys are just, all right, 5.9, it's 1388 Capistrano Avenue. Design review 2026-0171 coastal development permit 2026-0172. Ex parte, please.
I had a site visit and unfortunately did not call Christine? Denise, one of the two. Sorry about that.
Visited the site.
Went by the site and spoke to Denise.
Visited site with Denise.
And I visited the site with Denise and the property. All right, with that, Nancy, please give the presentation.
Good evening. This is a project at 1388 Capistrano Avenue and requires a design review and a coastal development permit. Next slide, please. These are the same photos in the staff report that show the property aerial photograph, its corner lot, and then the site photographs also. Next slide, please. The design review is for the vehicular access to add another on-site parking space, which is shown in green. There's an exterior remodel, pool and spa shown in light blue at the corner, grading outside the building footprint that's more than 20 cubic yards, and retaining walls greater than 5 feet. The coastal development permit is for the attached ADU that's shown in yellow. Next slide, please. These are the renderings that show the proposal, and you can see that there is changes to the exterior. Next slide, please. These are the materials. This is also from your staff report, so you can see the proposed materials. Next slide, please. We have not heard from anyone with concerns. There were no site meetings requested by any of the neighbors. In conclusion, the project complies with the design review guidelines, complies with the Laguna Beach Municipal Code development standards. It's compatible with the neighborhood and will not adversely impact view equity or go beyond the highest roof height. And the ADU will not impact public views. Next slide, please. And staff recommends adopt a resolution for the categorical exemption from CEQA guidelines, design review, and coastal development permit. I'm available for questions. Thank you.
Any questions this time?
I have one question. We don't see it very often, but the front yard pool, are there any specific findings that the board needs to make regarding that location?
No, it's not in the front setback. The front setback is 20 feet and the house is set back 20 feet from Noria. So it's actually in a side yard.
Thank you for that clarification. Please.
It is very unique.
The front yard setback varies on almost every site sometimes.
So just as a refresher, when you have a corner lot, the narrowest frontage is always the front unless someone is trying to develop and they ask for a front lot line exception. And you approve those. You don't get many of them.
No. Thank you for that refresher.
All right, open the public hearing. You have 5 minutes, Denise.
Thank you. This is on, yes. Hi, my name is Denise Salgarakis. It's good to see you all again. And thank you so much, Jessica, for all of your hard work in this. We will miss you tremendously.
Sweet, thank you.
So real quick, I will go quickly through our presentation as Nancy really touched on everything we needed to present. So next slide, please. We have a 7,500 square foot lot, and our existing property is a single story with a semi-subterranean garage, 2-car garage and 2-car driveway parking. And our proposed project is adding 324 square feet to the existing main home and an ADU of less than 850 square feet. We are also proposing to add a additional 1-car uncovered parking spot, as well as a pool and spa. So next slide, please. Quick, oh, we went one too fast, I think. Yes, there we go. On the a little bit of history, we have 3 parcels. They front to Noria, and the original home was built in 1961. And the views are all oriented to the ocean, which is a beautiful design for this lot. We're looking forward to enhancing that. Next slide, please. The existing and proposed site features, we have 2 original existing nonconformities on the side yard and the rear yard. And we also have 2 access points to the lot, one from Noria and one from Capistrano. As Nancy mentioned, the pool is on our side yard, which is majority of our yard. And the pool equipment is set to be in our rear yard in a vault, or not a vault, a well with a sound blanket over. Next slide, please. Just a quick neighborhood compatibility. Our living to lot ratio is approximately 21%, which is well below the neighborhood, which is on average, somewhere between 40 to 60%. And we are also 1 story when majority of other homes are 2 to 3 stories. Next slide, please. The neighborhood has many pools. There are 2 other pools in the neighborhood that are street adjacent, as you can see on the left of that slide. There are a total of 24 pools in the immediate neighborhood. On the next slide, you can see that we have our building situated as 1 story, but well below the buildable height limit. Our main house is almost 7.5 feet below the buildable height limit, and our any other obstruction, which is like our chimney cap, is more than 4 feet below as well. And then our next slide, again, similar to what is in the staff report, we have natural earth tones to complement the neighborhood, and variety of materials and horizontal changes of plane to minimize the boxy nature of our development. Next slide, please. Our original staking, we did a preliminary staking a couple years ago to engage with neighbors, and we had a pitch design. And in order to work with their views, we went to a flat roof and maintained our height limit that we have to decrease any obstructions. And we had favorable communication with our neighbors on the project with the flat roof. And then we also sent out two rounds of postcards and held a neighborhood meeting. And we had favorable interactions with our neighbors there as well. We had 4 in attendance. And then, of course, the DRB sent out a noticing postcard, and we had phone calls, and the homeowner had site meetings with a couple other neighbors, and we didn't have any issues that we needed to work out after that. And that's it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, any speakers, anybody wish to speak in the public? Seeing none, return. You have 3 more minutes. Do you want them?
Nope.
All right, any questions of the applicant or staff? Seeing none, the only question I have is you sent me a line of sight for Noria, and that involves a hedge of 4 to 5 feet. And I just want to make sure I understand your view on that.
Yes.
Is that something you would be agreeable to do, but you would prefer not?
We would prefer not, as it does block our white water caps from other parts of our lot for our view. And depending on the neighbor's view, it could potentially also block theirs from their lot behind us.
Yeah, no, I walked it. and
Yeah.
I saw that. Okay. I don't have any other questions. With that, close the public hearing. Who wants to begin?
I'll go. First off, just absolutely stunning design. It's very unique to the Archbeach Heights area to kind of have a 3-lot component, but to keep it kind of one story and as elegantly as designed as it is, it accomplishes quite a bit. The parking component is more than acceptable. The third spot is, parking up there is pretty tight. So the fact that you have such a long frontage on Capistrano, I think that's compatible and should be utilized as a parking spot. Very carefully thought out. As far as the Archbeach Heights specific plan, I think this is an exceptional, exceptionally meets that. And I think the staff report was well laid out for approval, and you have mine this evening.
Thank you.
I can compliment that. I concur with Board Member Weil. You hit the gold when you hired Denise. You've slowly but surely become my favorite, one of my favorite architects in town, and I do hope that you continue to work in this town. Hopefully, we haven't scared you off too much. But I concur, it meets all the objective findings and the subjective findings. There's no view impact, there's no privacy impact. It's very well thought out. You could have done 2 stories in the back and you kept it a single story, which I'm sure the neighbor on Noria behind you, now I'm confused on the backyard, side yard, but you know what I'm talking about. I'm sure they would appreciate it. I'm sure they're appreciative.
Yeah.
Your choice of building materials and mixing it up, it's brilliant, genius. It's aesthetically beautiful, especially for the Archbeach Heights as it's evolving, and you're getting new love up there, new construction, new remodels. It just sets the tone, and hopefully others will start to build to that caliber as well. The combo, I'm not generally a fan of flat roofs, but your combination of flat and slightly pitched, it's a beautiful design all around, and kudos to you. So I'm very approving of this project, and yeah, just love to see what the other board members say. Compliment. Oh.
Yeah, I concur. It's a beautiful design, very well articulated, going to really elevate the whole neighborhood. I was a little concerned about permeable and hardscape, but I think you've found a nice mix to allow some green space around it. Your use of materials, your different roof pitches and heights really gives the house some movement. It has a very nice organic, natural feel to it. So even though it's a rather large home, it won't feel super imposing. It's got a real softness to it. So I appreciate that. I think you've met the view equity requirements, privacy requirements, and it fits our criteria, so I can support it tonight.
Excuse me, Emir?
I think MJ and Jess and Lewis hit it on the head. Beautiful design. I used to live across the street on Noria, so I had firsthand view of your beautiful yard, which is a rarity out here, but I think you're upgrading it with this beautiful pool and all this site work. So wish you well on your project. Good luck.
All right, you got some great comments, and I find it important that Emir lived on Noria, knows the street. My concern was really from the Noria side. As you're walking down the street, there's that pool is right there. It almost becomes a public pool because there's nothing. It's just the way the project's oriented from Capistrano, it's fine because you're up above, but from Noria, they're walking right down and can see right in. I would prefer to see a 4 to 5 foot hedge there just for the neighborhood continuity. Unless my other board members agree with me, it's not going to happen. But I think you'll find, I would suggest you do it because I don't think it impacts views. You and I walked it. I'm not talking about a 6 or an 8 foot. we could build it into the plan and approve it. And the reason I would do it is you're probably going to want to do it anyway to have the privacy off of Noria. Because people walking down that street are going to be able to look right into your sitting area and your pool. So unless, I can get some support for 5-foot hedge or 4 to 5 foot hedge just along Noria, it ain't going to happen.
Can we ask do you feel like it impacted your view? Because if it is that.
It's so low, I just don't see it impacting the view. You know what I'm talking
I
about?
know what you're talking
Because Noria comes
I think one thing
down into Capistrano.
Let me try to touch on this. I think I hear what you're saying, and yes, the specific plan does call for landscaping on the side yards where feasible. However, due to the position of this being a corner lot, that I think those hedges would obstruct more ocean views for the neighbors going up Noria as they look kind of southwest.
It's not, I'd walk
out to
over
the
there.
ocean.
Talking
that if
about
you-
4 feet, 4 to 5 feet.
I still think by having that as a pool space keeps the very low profile on that front, and it gives a much better view for those houses as they go further back up Noria. Because all those homes have like kind of these diagonal views down the street. So anything you can do to open those corners, it's meaningful to people up there.
Yeah, I'm not, I don't think
is that-
that view would be impacted by such a low hedge, but
Tom, I might be able to convince you otherwise.
go ahead. I'm all ears. Go for it, Emir.
So that as you're making a turn on going off of Noria onto Capistrano, sometimes it's hard to see vehicles. So from a safety standpoint, would you be open to there being no shrubbery there so you can see trucks coming up through Capistrano?
That's part of the pool.
Or even the speeders that go up and down that
Well,
street.
I don't have a problem with the Capistrano side. In fact, he's already got in there olive trees, which are going to be taller than 5 feet. So he's got the hedge already on the Capistrano side. It's just the Noria side is wide open. You're walking down, you're just looking right into his deck and his swimming pool. One reason why we don't do swimming pools generally in the front yard is because it becomes kind of like a public pool. And here you've got it on a corner. And I think the fact that neighbors haven't complained is significant, but on the other hand, it's a fairly heavily driven area up in in Arch Beach Heights, so.
All right, do we have a motion?
Yeah, if I haven't changed anybody's mind, I will vote in favor of it.
Okay, I'll move item number 5.9 at project location 1388 Capistrano Avenue, that the board adopts resolution 2026-0171, approving design review 2026-0171, and coastal development permit 2026-0172, and that the board finds said action categorically exempt pursuant to CEQA section 15303.
I'll second that.
Call the roll, please.
Board Member Bauta,
Yes.
Board Member Coveney,
Yes.
Board Member Wah,
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Gannon.
Yes.
Chair Gibbs.
I'll abstain. Okay, thank you
Motion
very
is
much.
passed,
You
4 to
got
1.
your project. I just couldn't vote yes, given that condition, but it's not so big that I wanted to vote no on it. So for what it's worth, I only abstained.
Thank you so much,
Right,
guys.
but think about it. I mean, when you get further into it, hopefully you will see the advantage of what I'm saying, but maybe not. Most people don't. So, all right.
And
Will do.
Denise, please do more work here.
I'm
Yes.
good.
Thank you so much, you guys. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you. And can I just say one thing really fast?
You, Nancy.
This has been like a 3-year process for us. And I just want to be some testament not only to Denise, but also to Nancy. She's been a great help throughout this whole process. We have gone through multiple revisions just to make sure that we comply with all, not only local guidelines, but also the neighbors. And so I just want to say, thank you to all you guys that do this every day, day in and day out. And I hope we provided a plan and a home that's going to increase that Arch Beach Heights area. So thank you guys very much. I appreciate it, Nancy.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Nice job, Nancy.
Listen.
And absolutely
We
will.
need to take a short break, so 5 minutes, strict 5 minutes, 7:08, we start promptly.
See.
Get up in the seat. 5:10, quiet, please, quiet. We're back in session in the back.
Hello, everybody.
Back in session. Thank you.
We're just starting.
We're just starting. So pay attention. We're 5.10, which is 35 Paren. I think the address is 32276 North La Senda. Design review 2026-0006, variance 2006 or 2026-0007. Ex parte, please.
Chair, I previously visited the site.
Yes.
Yeah, reviewed the new material, but just recently saw the site and evaluated.
I visited the site way back when
Yeah.
with Brian.
In the last review, I also met with Brian.
And just so it's clear, the project actually didn't change from the prior, so I did not visit the site, but I visited the site previously and spoke to the architect previously. With that, Nancy, if you could, we've gone through the project, if you could focus on well, actually, we had some other issues regarding the variance. Why don't you give your full presentation?
So basically, this is a new house, demolishing the existing home. Design review and variance, like Tom suggested and noted. So the next slide, please. And this presentation is basically the presentation I had before, but I added new slides for to follow the direction of the board. This is the site and photos showing the back garage now and the front street frontage. Next slide, please. This articulates the design review items, the grading, the single-family dwelling, the widened vehicular access is shown in yellow. The additional covered parking is the orange area, is the garage below. Trash enclosure in the front yard is the purple area. A pool and spa is proposed, and there is a deck area shown in green that is also on the ADU in the back. Next slide. The design review board basically all agreed that it was well articulated and generally met the design review guidelines, but had concerns with grading, the amount of grading and impact to potentially the proximity to the coast and adjacent properties, and the variance justifications. So to respond to the grading concern, the applicant provided a geological report that concluded the feasibility, gave recommendations and construction measures. They provided a geotechnical memorandum for the construction monitoring. They had a shoring engineer letter that also had recommendations for the temporary shoring, and then also had a letter from construction and grading compliance letter that was something that was requested by at least one board member. And then for the justification for the variance, the board thought that the house was neighborhood compatible, didn't have view impacts, but wanted particularly additional findings for the excess floor area variance. Next slide, please. This slide just articulates the three variances. So the top one, there is an excess of 466 square feet over the maximum floor area, which happens to be the area of the ADU. Number two is the building height. So you can see that in the top image. That's the area that's highlighted, is the area that's above the 21-foot allowed height. And then the bottom image and the last variance is for a flat roofed area. Three Arch Bay allows a portion to be flat roofed, and it's less than 20% of the overall roof area. Next slide, please. So the revised variance findings were provided in the staff report and have been summarized in this slide. And in the staff report, I provided a table in the variance findings to try and show in the public record variances for height, floor area, and roof slope areas on other properties in the Three Arch Bay area. Next slide are just the renderings. The following slide was provided previously and also in the staff report, which is the colors and materials. And staff's recommendation is to adopt the resolution. for category exemption from the CEQA guidelines, the design review, and the variance. And I had conclusion before. I had them switched, but the conclusion was that the project complies with design review guidelines. It complied with the Laguna Beach Municipal Code for development standards. It was compatible with the neighborhood and will not adversely impact views or privacy, and the findings can be made for the variance. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Excellent presentation. I open the public hearing. Brian, you have 5 minutes.
Thank you. Yes, my name is Brian Jowett with Brandon Architects and representing the Ballards tonight. Thank you all for your time. Thank you, Jessica, for your 6 years. We've only presented a few projects to you, but always appreciated your fairness. So sorry to see you go. So like Nancy mentioned on the last hearing, we came to this hearing with a couple items that were needed, the SOAS report, the letters from engineers, and then the examples of FAR variances. So I can answer any questions you have of those if you've read through those or not. And hopefully those are satisfactory to what was needed. And then also in addition to that, Craig has been working in the background with the neighbors since the first hearing in regard to making sure the neighbors are okay with the grading that's going to happen and getting to some sort of agreement with them.
Well, I'll get to that with questions. I'll open, are you done?
Yes.
Okay, any members of the public wish to speak? Come on up. State your name and you'll have 3 minutes each.
Hey, good evening. My name is Brian Milton and we live at 42 North Portola, just behind this property. On the February 12th DRB, you asked the Ballards to work with us, as was mentioned, to document agreement on work process, oversight, insurances and financial protection should this major project impact our property and that of my neighbors, the Rockwells. That was 6 weeks ago, and after numerous emails and phone messages, we finally received a proposal last Friday. We responded at the weekend and exchanged a couple of emails today, so it's still work in progress. The proposal is not satisfactory as it stands now, but on the positive side, we appreciate a number of areas of alignment, notably detailed excavation and shoring plans, and we very much like the pile and wood method versus other alternatives which could have been utilized. We've agreed to jointly develop baseline measurements, video, and photographs, and we also appreciate the intent to carry out consistent measurement of walls on property before, during, and after the project, to ensure that through the data sharing and, any subsidence cracking and movement issues are early identified and responded to. However, data sharing and independence of that work is not agreed as yet. There's a commitment to a reasonable work stoppage plan based on data and expert oversight and the baseline data, which we appreciate, and we need to clarify that vibration monitoring is part of this. They also agreed to work with their GC to have us and the Rockwells as additional insured parties in their insurance policy should the worst occur. There are 5 remaining areas that we'd ask you to consider before you finalize approving this project. Firstly, independent oversight and measurement. Currently, the surveyors and the engineers are the Ballards alone, and the general contractor who signed the construction and grading oversight letter appears to be a Ballard family firm. Conflict of interest potential is high and transparency questionable when one party, the Ballards, owns, reviews, and decides on the implications of data for our properties. We've made a proposal to the Ballards in this regard, but we haven't brought it to conclusion. We need to agree that all baseline data and vibration and subsidence measurement regarding impact of work on our properties is shared openly and in real time. It's vital that the vibration monitoring with trigger points and work stoppage plan integration is agreed. That put me off. I'm hopeful on this count, as their own geologists state in the documents provided to you today, that vibration monitoring is vital when drilling down 20 feet into bedrock right adjacent to our property. As we and the Rockwells are named as additional insured on the GC policy, we need confirmation on adequacy of these insurance policies for this major excavation, base rock destruction, and removal. We've also proposed a surety bond payable jointly to us and the Rockwells, allowing direct and timely response if damage does occur.
Excuse me, sir, your 3 minutes is up.
Okay. Well, I think,
You know,
Well, you get the point and I
Yeah, I
appreciate
think
your
we get-
consideration.
Okay, next speaker. And if there's any other speakers, if they could come up toward the podium so we don't have to wait for major movement.
Good evening, Board. I'm Rock Rockwell, adjacent property owner to the north. Brian is my neighbor to the east. We've reviewed every document submitted for tonight's hearing. I want to speak directly from them, not from our opinions, but from the Ballard's own submissions. At the February 12th meeting, this project was described as 2,800 cubic yards of excavation. The geotechnical memorandum submitted for tonight, attachment 9, confirms the actual volume is 3,200 cubic yards. That's 15% more earth than disclosed at the last meeting. The risk has grown, not shrunk. Number 2, their own shoring engineer, Roy Reed, attachment 10, confirmed in writing that peak particle velocity monitoring is part of the planned monitoring program for this project. He named it explicitly. Their own geotechnical memorandum states that excavation cuts will primarily be into hard bedrock and that vibration monitoring is required when hard rock is encountered. Hard rock is not a risk, it's a certainty by their own admission. And I want to be specific about why sustained vibration through hard bedrock is uniquely dangerous. This is not a single demolition event. Heavy equipment will be hammering through 3,200 cubic yards of bedrock over weeks, if not months, at depths of up to 20 feet. At our property lines, cumulative vibration damage is the kind that doesn't show up until after construction ends. PPV monitoring will catch it, which is precisely why their engineer already said it's planned. Their compliance letter certifying our homes won't be harmed, signed by Anderson Ballard Construction, a company bearing the developer's own family name with a developer's family member as a CEO. That is developer writing a safety letter to himself. Number 3, I want to be fair. Since the February 12th meeting, the Ballards have made real concessions. They've agreed in principle to add us as additional insureds on the GC policy. They've agreed to work stoppage plan. They've agreed to share monitoring data. Brian Milton and I sent a written response this week proposing solutions to the remaining gaps, but no reply. The remaining gaps are 1, no independent monitoring. 2, no defined PPV threshold, no surety bond, and an additional insured commitment that is conditional on a contractor they haven't selected. Before my wife speaks to what we're asking, I want to leave the board with 2 anchors. California Civil Code, Section 832, already establishes that excavators are legally responsible for lateral support of adjacent properties. And Laguna Beach Municipal Code Section 25.05.040 states explicitly that public health, safety, and general welfare is paramount as a design review goal. That is the 6th stated goal of this board's own mandate. We're not asking for anything the law doesn't already contemplate. My wife will tell you exactly what we need from you tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next speaker.
These were 2 copies or what were?
Yeah.
That minute sounded a little ominous. Oh, do I have to push something or?
Oh, it automatic. You're on.
No,
Conversation with us.
Okay. I'm Faye Rockwell, and yes, I'm going to speak about what we'd like you to do tonight. Thank you. We are not asking the board to resolve every detail. We are asking for 3 conditions of approval that are within your authority and grounded in your own code. 1, require that a jointly selected independent engineer conduct PPV vibration monitoring throughout the hard rock excavation phase with a defined threshold and automatic work stoppage. The Ballard's own shoring engineer already committed to PPV monitoring in writing. This condition simply makes it independent and binding. 2, require that an additional insured status for the Milton and Rockwell families be a mandatory non-negotiable term in any GC contract executed for this project, not pending GC approval, required as a condition of GC engagement. 3, require a surety bond of $100,000 per adjacent property before any permit issues, fully refundable to the Ballards if the project completes without damage claims. If their engineers are correct that our homes will be more stable when this is done, this bond costs the Ballards nothing. These are not punitive. They are proportionate to a project of this scale at these property lines. We want to close with this. The Ballards have begun to engage and we are encouraged. We sent them a written proposal this week that accepts their concessions and bridges in remaining gaps. We have not received a reply. This is gate 1 of 3. The building committee controls permits. A binding agreement closes all 3 gates. We ask that you either include these as conditions of approval tonight or continue this matter one final time to allow the agreement to be finalized. I made it without all buzzers.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for all you guys do too, and I survive. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other speakers? Seeing none, I return it to you for 3 minutes, Brian.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I will say in regard to the amount of excavation, I think it may have been misspoke last hearing and that we haven't adjusted the design at all. So what was proposed in the drawings has remained the same in terms of the amount of excavation being done. And yeah, that's it.
All right, let me ask, I've got a couple of questions. First of all, I read the reports. There's 3 reports that have recommendations. Do you have any objection to making them conditions of approval? With the caveat that they're subject to change by a certified geotechnical consultant and approved by staff. I understand there's going to be plans that are going to be developed that might require some changes in those conditions, but
What conditions are you referring to? Sorry.
there's conditions set forth in the geotechnical report, in the geotechnical project memorandum, and the shoring engineer letter as to how that process is going to happen.
I think those could run concurrently with the project, right? With the geotechnical report, if they're in the report, they go to the project.
They were submitted to us tonight, and they've got to be, what happens is in the next step, they've got to be included in the plans, in the shoring plans and so forth. And the way that the geotechnical letters provide that these conditions are subject to change as those plans are developed. And given the sensitive nature of, and we're kind of getting into deliberations, I was asking a question, not whether it was needed. We can talk. And is there any objection from you to make a condition that you comply with those recommendations, subject to change by the recommendation of a certified geotechnical consultant and approved by staff?
You're talking about the recommendations in their memo, the soils engineer memo?
Well, there's also recommendations in the full-blown geotechnical. I've read the reports in the
Okay.
full-blown geotechnical. They overlap a lot, but there's some additional recommendations under section 3 of the geotechnical report that I think are important to do and will provide a great deal of protection to the adjoining property owners. That's why they made the recommendations.
Yeah, it's usually standard for us to follow those recommendations in the soils report, so we don't.
You would not have, that's what I think.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the other thing is, I read the memorandum of understanding, and is there any reason why we can't continue this so that you can complete those negotiations? And the reason I'm asking that of you, and again, you don't have to, I'm just asking that of you. What you're doing there, it's a great project, and I agree with you that you're going to, when it's done, if it's done safely, going to improve the stability of the neighbors. That's clear to me. And I'm doing that somewhat educated because I've dealt with this kind of stuff in my career. But there's a great deal of danger in doing, and the excavation is 3,200. It's been that way from the beginning. It was on your plan, so that was incorrect. It is 3,200. It's a lot of cubic yards. So I would like to see you reach that agreement if you can. I don't think we can impose it, but I think it would go along. I don't think the neighbors' requests are unreasonable. So I mean, that's a question to you now. Is that something, because it sounds like you're close, and it'd be good to get that before you go into the next stage, to get the neighbors resolved, get everything resolved.
Yeah, I think from our standpoint, a shovel is not going to hit the ground for quite a while. And we have a lot of time going through building plan check, and structural engineering of the home itself will take some time. So I think we wouldn't want to continuance for right now. If we could vote, that'd be great, because the conversations with the neighbors will also be ongoing as well. And I think they'll get there prior to anything being built.
Well, I mean, come on, I mean, the idea was to get everything in place before,
Well,
anyway.
can I ask a question? So it seems like there were 3 points of contention still unaccounted for by the neighbors, if I wrote them down correctly. No, they wanted independent monitoring. Is that something you were not open to, or is that just something you haven't given thought to, or?
No, I think we're open to that. Yeah.
So independent monitoring, you're open to.
So we can make
The-
it that a condition. Go ahead.
Yes, okay. The other was additionally insured the Milton and the Rockwell families as a, I know that's relatively easy to do with existing insurance. Is that something that you would consider being okay?
I haven't spoken to Craig about that, so I don't want to speak for
Yeah.
him.
Because that's usually not a big deal. The only one that kind of jumped out to me, which I would think you'd want to talk to him about, is this bond. I'm
Yeah.
not that familiar about that, but whenever you bond, like you'd have to check these other homes for every crack, everything, because they're going to say, look, you created that, you created that. And say, well, wait a minute, my coffee maker broke. It's like, I don't think so. So, it's like, where do you draw the line on something like that? So, I just think that you can't go that far, but I don't know that bond world that well. But I do know that the other two seem pretty regular. The only thing about the monitoring, I'm not that familiar with that either. But
We've
that
made
nuance,
conditions of approval.
and
for
it
those.
seems like
It's primarily for the vibration, and we'll
Right,
talk. I'll
but
talk
I
about
understand
that
what
in
it's for. I'm
delivery.
just saying that if it's so nuanced, it's like, is it going off? And it's probably a simple thing for you to do because it would benefit you in the long run anyway to know if
Yeah,
you were
yeah, for
creating
sure.
a habit.
The monitoring.
So I guess what I'm trying to do is get you to this approval. And if it's those 3 outstanding items, that perhaps, we could go with at least those 2. I mean, I don't know if it's a
Yeah.
text to the homeowners about the additionally insured.
Go ahead, Louis, you
Let
have
me
some
ask,
questions?
So, I don't want to overstep too much, but I know there's a gray area between what the board can really approve and what really is a civil matter between the parties here, in a sense. And I think the independent monitoring is something we've done historically that we've got an agreement on that. So that's one of 3 remaining things. That one I'm 100% comfortable with. Requiring the bond, I don't think is part of our best practices that we've approved. So if you guys come up to your own agreement, I'm not comfortable putting that as a conditioner. But I'll leave it to you guys to do on your own agreement.
We'll get into deliberations
But
on
the
that.
additionally insured, Pat, how do you see that one?
Correct. And so, from the city's perspective, your guys' role is to look at the findings required to approve the project. Now, oftentimes, I'm aware you guys serve as somewhat of a mediation-esque type process. So if the parties agree, I'm never going to stand in the way, but a city posited condition of approval that says you must provide insurance for your neighbors is one that I would not advise, not because I'm weighing who's right or who's wrong, only because the findings really, I can't look at a finding that says, hey, in order for you guys to make it, you need to provide insurance for your neighbors. The civil code exists, lawsuits exist. If something were poor to happen, they can avail themselves to it. This board is not really set to adjudicate and set the insurance levels or anything like that.
They have their own insurance on their neighboring properties. So for this issue, I think that's where my comfortability lies.
Okay, any other questions? All right, let me close the public hearing and let me jump into it since I was the one who had the issues, and I'm going to talk about the insurance stuff too. All righty. First of all, let me knock the easy ones off. What we were looking for in the way of backup information on the variances was provided. Good job on that. I think all the grounds and findings could be made. I think we talked about the design review for the home, and I think all of us agreed that it met the guidelines. So let me just focus in on the geological stuff. Yeah, I read the geological stuff, and I think those are good reports, and the conditions and requirements are strong. You can overthink this, but I would support the project. I'll talk about the other issues, the bonds, in a second. If we made them all conditions that require, as I described, and which if the board goes along with me on, I can make the motion. But basically, the recommendations in those 3 reports would be conditions of approval, and they can only be changed with the recommendation of a certified geotechnical consultant and approved by the city building department. And I think with that, there's a lot of comfort that this is going to be done correctly. With respect to vibration, the vibration is when you have to remove rock with equipment. Normal excavation is not going to have the kind of impact on adjoining lots. So the condition in and I think it's in the recommendation letter as well as in the report, or the memo, the geotechnical project memo, as well as in the geotechnical report, is that vibration monitors are used when hard rock is hit. I'm comfortable with that, but I do want it to be an independent monitor. And I'm not sure how that works. Does the city hire the independent monitor and is paid for by staff? You said you've done it before, Louis?
Well, we've just required the independent monitoring. I mean,
You know,
I think we can make a caveat that it's not a privately owned company from the applicant.
Yeah,
I think that's the concern,
all the engineers.
that it's an independent.
All the geotechnical engineers have to be licensed and certified. Somebody's got to pay them, and in this case, it's the applicant. So just so long as, neither the contractor nor the owner have any ownership interest in the geotech, we're good. So that's an independent. It is not owned or operated by either the contractor or the applicant. With respect to bonds, the property itself is worth a lot. You're going to have plenty of recourse. There's the claims can be against the property and against the applicant. So I'm not doing backflips with insurance. Also, the insurance is not going to help you a lot. It's just not going to help you a lot, particularly a $100,000 surety bond. Now, it would be nice to get, but number one, I don't think we can impose that as a condition. And number two is, I think good neighbors would provide for it, and it does provide an element of protection to the applicant to bring in additional insureds so that the neighbors have the right to go against the insurance company for any damages. That being said, a lot of these policies, and again, I'm not giving legal advice, if you sue the applicant, the insurance would kick in any event, even if you're not a named insured. I'm not giving legal advice. You should subject and check that out. But my frame of mind is that the board neither should nor has the authority to order as condition assurances. So if I'm clear, that's how I would approach it. Make the recommendations conditions, add the slight independent vibration monitor consultant, not have any ownership interests with with either the engineering firms, any of the previously retained consultants, or the owner or the contractor.
Thank you, Tom. Again, I'll follow my comments from the prior hearing. I do find the project to be design review compatible. I appreciate the additional variance findings, especially for floor area. I knew it was common in this zone, so that mirrored that knowledge from what I've got for this area. As far as the grading, which was left over for concern, as Chair Gibbs discussed, I'm comfortable with the independent vibration monitoring from a separate company, not associated with the owner or any affiliate. And the language he discussed for the geotechnical all seem to be comparable and just part of the best practices of what you guys should be doing. I will leave it at that.
Next, Emer.
Yeah, I'm just going to concur with Louis on that. I think, as mentioned, the monitor is the only thing that will add as a condition. Otherwise, others are, like you said, best practice and already noted in the GO, so it's redundant. And it's a beautiful project, and I hope you get through quickly.
I agree with MJ. I think there's a preponderance of professional reporting on this site, which we appreciate. These are all licensed professionals, and I know Debbie's got quite a history with geotechnical, so looking forward to working with her in the next 2 weeks. Continuous observation by project geologists is listed in the geology report, so I think that's as far as, from a safety standpoint, as our considerations can be made. there's the right people that are going to be looking at it whenever they're drilling, lagging, shoring, or excavating. There's going to be a professional on site. So I think that goes a long way into assuring that this is being done in a safe and a proactive manner. So I could definitely approve the project tonight. I think all the findings could have been met last week or last hearing. Jess?
And I concur as well. This is the design review board, so I'm going to stay in my lane and just focus on the design. It meets all of the objective criteria and all the subjective criteria. There's no view impacts. There's no privacy impacts. The lot coverage is just based on the addition of the ADU, and if this had been brought to us a year and a half ago, then it wouldn't be an issue. So I can make the findings for each of the variances. There's 3 variances. And I concur. I think Nancy helped you with some of these variances. Good job, Nancy. Great job. Great staff report too. Yeah, I was going to read off the variances. Yeah, it was a flat roof variance. As far as the flat roof goes, I'm not a fan of flat roofs. Neither is Tab. But the portion of the flat roof is not seen from the street and none of the neighbors can see it. I think it's very well hidden. It also is the platform for solar panels, which I think is strategically placed the way that you designed it. I had a concern with it being all white facade, but I spoke with Nancy about that, and she said that that's Tab's desire to have construction or properties that look like that, where it's all white. But as far as articulation, with it being all white, it usually has an appearance of mass and scale, but you articulated it so well that I think that suffices. And then as far as the height variance, it's just a technicalities because you are digging down the hill to allow the garage to go underneath the house. So the variance for that is good. The floor area for the ADU, I already spoke about that. I think that covers it. Yeah, it's just 466 square feet, and that's the ADU. Yeah, I think that covered it. Yeah, I can support this project. It meets all the DR criteria, and the variance findings can be made. So yeah.
Okay, let me make a motion then. I move that the board adopt resolution 2026-0006, approving design review 2026-0006 and variance 2026-0007 for the property located at 35 North Lasenda Drive and finding said action categorically exempt from CEQA under 15303. Subject to the condition that the recommendations in the geotechnical report, the geotechnical project memo, and the shoring and engineer letter be complied with, subject to change by a certified geotechnical consultant and approved by city staff. And secondly, that any independent vibration monitoring required by those recommendations be done by an independent company, meaning a company that is not owned or controlled by the applicant, the contractor, or any of its other retained consultants.
I'll second that.
One minor modification. You said certified. Can we qualify licensed?
Licensed, fine.
Thank you.
I'll
That
second that.
modification, do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Call the roll.
Board Member Belta,
Yes.
Board Member Coveney,
Yes.
Board Member Wall,
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Gannon,
Yes.
Chair Gibbs.
Yes.
Motion is passed 5-0.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All right, the last item on the agenda is 5.11, which is 31565 Eagle Rock Drive Design Review 2025-0407, Coastal Development Permit 2025-0408. Let's do our ex parte.
Chair, I had a site visit with Steve Coratani and met with a neighbor, Kenneth Snyder.
I did the same on site.
I did a site visit, met with Ken Snyder, the neighbor, and I spoke with Steve Coratani.
Same. Oh, I met with both uphill neighbors.
And I did a site inspection and I met with Ken Snyder and I spoke with Stan Andrade by telephone. So with that, Heather, you're up.
Thank you. Good evening, Chair Gibbs and board members. Item 5.11 is a request for design review and coastal development permit at 31565 Eagle Rock Way in the Village Community Zone. Next slide. The 35-foot by 181-foot project site contains an existing 330 square foot storage building, walkways, landscaping, and fencing, which will be demolished. The surrounding neighborhood is developed with 1- and 2-story residences. Next slide. The applicant is requesting design review for a new 2-story single-family dwelling with an attached garage, elevated deck, grading, pool, spa, landscape, hardscape, new vehicular access, and public street improvements. The rear portion of the structure will have a flat roof that will extend over a detached ADU. The roofed area between the house and ADU will create a covered patio. A coastal development permit is required for the ADU. However, the ADU is not subject to design review. This project was previously heard on October 23rd, 2025, and continued to tonight's hearing to provide the applicant time to address the concerns that were raised by surrounding property owners. Next slide. Access to the property will be provided from Eagle Rock Way to a 2-car garage, and a 4-foot high gate is proposed across the driveway at the front. Next slide. The issues raised by the neighboring property owners included air and light, privacy, and view equity. The board directed that the applicant reduce the upper level program at the rear to minimize the glazing on the north and south sides of the upper level to provide increased view and open space and privacy to the immediate neighbors. The revised north and south elevations are shown on this slide. It's a bit pale, but back to that slide. So the orange hatched area illustrates the original project design, which was revised prior to the first design review board hearing based on input from the neighbors. The green hatched area illustrates the extent of the project as it was proposed in October, and the current proposal is the unhatched area. Next slide. And again, this one's a bit pale. As in the previous slide, the area in orange crosshatch shows the extent of the original design of the upper living area. The previous floor plan from October meeting is shown at the bottom of the slide. And on the current revised upper level plan at the top of the slide, the area in green crosshatch indicates the living area that was removed from the upper level, which is approximately 262 square feet by removing a bedroom and a bathroom. The western wall has been moved 11 feet 6 inches to the east, and the 220 square foot elevated deck with glass railings will be accessed from the main bedroom. This deck has been reduced by about 245 square feet, and the railing has been relocated approximately 21 feet to the east. Next slide. Next slide. Okay, missing a slide. Okay. Let's see, go back one slide, please. Okay. The current roof plan is shown at the top of the slide, and the green crosshatched area indicates 135 square feet of slope roof that, oops, not the right slide. Sorry. Can we go to the roof slide? There we go. On the top plan shows a green hatched area, which is 135 square feet of sloped roof that has been changed to a flat roof. Okay, next slide. Oh, backwards, sorry, previous. There we go. Okay, so the lower level plan has not been modified since the previous meeting. A condition of approval has been added to the resolution to reduce the overall floor area by approximately 33 square feet to conform to the floor area ratio requirement of the zone. This includes the square footage of the ADU. Okay, next slide. Next slide. Okay, so again, to summarize, based on the direction from the board to address privacy and view equity, the applicant has reduced glazing on the south elevation from 8 windows to 3. On the north elevation, reduced from 5 windows down to 3. And the upper level living area was reduced by 262 square feet. The deck was, and the wall was moved 11 feet 6 inches to the east. The Deck was reduced by 245 square feet by relocating the guardrail approximately 21 feet. And again, 135 square feet of pitched roof was made into a flat roof. Next slide. The project was still maintaining the contemporary design, incorporating light stucco, wood siding, vertical siding elements, dark gray standing seam roof, and other decorative metal louvered accents. Next slide. So in conclusion, this project meets the program was modified to address the board's direction, and the project complies with the design review guidelines, the Laguna Beach development standards, and is compatible with the neighborhood and meets view equity requirements. Next slide. So staff recommends that the board adopt resolution 25-0407, approving design review 25-0407 and coastal development permit 25-0408, and finding the project categorically exempt pursuant to section 15303 of the CEQA guidelines. This concludes our presentation, and we're available if you have any questions.
Thank you. Does any of the board have questions of the staff? Seeing none, I open the public hearing. Stan, you have 5 minutes.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm Stan Andrade. I'm here with Steve Kawaratani. We're working together to see if we can get approval tonight. I think Heather did a great job at outlining everything. It's pretty straightforward. You saw all the elements. I just wanted to emphasize that we took your comments very seriously. I took great note to them, and I feel that we've done a great job at getting a response to those comments that's palatable, I think, for all of us. That we really, truly believe that we heard what you said, we reacted to it, we've adjusted the plan, and we feel that it's an approvable project. So I'm just going to keep it at that. We'll answer questions when you have them and do some response to the other comments, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you much. Okay, how many people plan to speak from the audience? Could you move up and begin speaking? You'll each have 3 minutes. Start with your name, if you could.
Guess I'll go first. My name's Ken Snyder. Yes, we had the meeting last time. It got revised. There's some conversation there. I don't believe there was direction from the board of what to do. The conversation, I think, was to get all the parties together, have a compromise, have a discussion. Unfortunately, from whatever reasons, architect and myself and the other people have never met. And this was a perspective that they got from the last meeting. But you guys have all been out there, thank you. But for the public record, I acknowledge that a house will be built, but a no vote today, I think we need it. And even if we have to kick the can down the road, because all options and issues have not been exhausted. Residents did not have a chance to put input with the architect at this time. Views and privacy concerns exist. The giant plan that was put out there first, my thing was like the Empire State Building was there first, and they dropped it down to a 10-story building. Still does not comply with view equity or privacy. Reasoning, a no vote could get a reset, and we could talk about all the water blockage, blue water that I have from my house. 53 of the 4 ceremonial rooms have complete blockage. One of them is about 50%. I acknowledge that there's trees, but trees come and go, but the building does not. Privacy is a bigger concern to the neighbors. I do have solutions. On the top green lines that you guys all saw, that blocks the whole ocean. If that was dropped down, so the level was with the lower green new flags, I block all the buildings out, all the greenery down below, but the ocean remains. That's one solution. Another solution is someone brought up, we talked about it, moving the whole second story, which blocks everybody's view and privacy, to the back of the lot. Maybe even getting, I don't know if it's a variance or what do you call it, but the exception, instead of 20 feet, start 5 feet for setbacks and build it that way. And then the whole front will be low. It'll cover the view equity. It'll cover the privacy. I think you can get 2 birds with 1 stone on that. There are pools in the front, but it won't be on the street. There'd be a 2-car garage blocking it. They can move all that stuff and just flip it. that would solve a lot of problems. So there are solutions. There's conversation to be had. Privacy is a big issue with everybody else. My view is 3/4 block still, no fixes on that. And I think we got a chance for the DRB to do what they're supposed to do, is come up with a compromise, which didn't happen this time. So I don't think we're going to get a straight no on the whole project, but I think we could get a no for tonight and kick it down the road until we can have one-on-one conversations and come up with solutions like we were supposed to the first time. Thank you.
Thank you much. Next speaker.
Hi, I'm directly next door to the lot, you know that. Okay, so I'm here tonight because the first time we met about this project, it wasn't approved. You suggested Stan, the architect, work on the design, make it more open, different elevations, and more light, not a solid wall right up against the fence. I'm going to show you this first photo. This was from last time because that is still the view from my house. Fence, wall. Because the entire length of my house has a building 25 feet high next to the fence, I cannot see the sky from any of the windows in my house. I'm still concerned because I've heard that my house is going to mold because of lack of sunlight. And then I just listened to another resident here whose house had fungus, and it just scares me. That concerns me a lot, and I have to go outside my house to see the sky. Jack, would you move this? So after you go outside the back door onto the patio, you can see where the flags that are lowered are green now. So that does benefit without not just being a solid wall, but it still doesn't do anything for my privacy, for my, I mean, that's my house and I can't even see anything. So I just hope that we can all talk about it more and get something more compliant for everybody.
Thank you very much. Next speaker.
3 minutes, Tom, that's not gonna happen. So my biggest thing is, and it's a civil matter supposedly, because I went in to look at the plans that were made, and I'll say the same thing as everybody else did. You said, talk to all of them and work it out. There was no conversations, no attempts to talk to us. I tried to email, and when I found out the meeting, I didn't know you don't get notice after the first one. Anyway, so my concerns are, it definitely is an improvement that there's not 9 windows. It also looks like maybe they're moved to the right, but I can't tell from the plans, which now are posted, because Stan said they were private, so that's why I can't see them. Privacy reasons. I don't know what you were saying.
Due to copyright, we couldn't email them to you without the architect's permission, but you were able to come in and view them.
Well, I
at the
did
counter.
at the
Yeah.
counter, and it was hard. But anyway, so if there's 3 windows, but there's really 4, you said there's only 3 on my side, the south side? There's 3.
You have to speak
Yeah.
to the chair.
And you do need to address the board. If you have questions, you can ask us and we might direct them later. So go ahead.
Sure. My 3 minutes. I need to talk about the property line and the windows. The color art attachment 4 that's on the agenda, that shows 9 windows. And so the plans that were shown, that shows 3 over to closer to Eagle Rock, and then 1 looking like it looks right into my house.
The revised plans will apply, right? Yeah. So you can disregard the color elevations for the purposes of windows. The revised plans and attachment 2 will apply.
Okay, well, I just want to make
Yeah,
sure. And
give
then-
Ann one more minute. We'll get.
Okay, so the survey where the 5-foot setback was done is not, it's a topographic, it's not a boundary survey. So I called Peter Geisler, Laguna Surveying, because it's a civil matter that you guys don't care about. So what I don't understand though is if the claim is a foot of my property in paces, it's not a survey. He's setting the 5 feet with no proper survey. that shows the true property lines. I asked how much a survey would cost to do my property, and he said 22 grand because the monuments are so far out. So all I'm saying is, I just want to know what the property line is. I have a 10,000 square foot property. I pay my property taxes on that. And if somebody comes along with a non-binding topical, nobody's actually measured the true property line. Who's right?
That happened to you?
Well,
You have 30 seconds more.
so do I have to hire a lawyer and sue somebody or what?
We don't answer questions. And we don't answer questions. It's your time to give us evidence. So
Okay, well, and then that's all there really is. I was pretty okay. And then there's a deck that's like right in my kitchen. That the upper deck is like 5 feet from my kitchen, which feels.
all right, thank you, Ann. All right, any other speakers?
Hi, my name is Amy Burke. I live at 31559 Eagle Rock Way. Before the project, I was contacted by Stan. He told me that they're going to be building on the lot. He came out and we had conversations. I showed him my view. And when the flags first went up, I was a bit, it was disconcerting because they were completely blocking my view. I called him. He picked the phone right up, was very friendly. We discussed it. And he moved everything back. And as of the last design hearing, I wasn't able to attend, but I watched it. And since then, he has moved it to the degree that it does not block my view anymore. So I personally have no issues with it. Having said that, the suggestion to then lower it for everybody else to be able to see and then put it up in the back of the property would completely block my view. So I do have an issue with that. I also do not agree with the fact that trees come and go, because when a tree is taken down and a pool is put there, the trees go and they don't come back. So I do feel that there's going to be a big view opening up, which I had 12 years ago before that block grew up. I didn't know about view preservation back then, unfortunately. But now I have all those trees blocking, and once I didn't, and I will be quite happy when those are gone. So I just wanted you to know that he did listen to my concerns. I can't speak for the others, but as far as I'm concerned, I'm happy with the project, and I thought he was very professional.
Thank you very much. All right, any other, oh, and Christoph, you're up.
And Christoph, I'm looking at the staff report and the evaluation of the land of the design review criteria. And I think the comments here tonight bear witness to the issue of neighborhood compatibility. Eagle Rock, especially that lower part of Eagle Rock, has a certain character. And many of the houses are one story, and this particular lot has one-story houses on both sides. And the houses are not severe contemporary. If you look at that slide that he had with this really angular, exaggerated perspective, that is not the look of Eagle Rock Way in any part of it. And I think this would be solved with a one-story solution. And I don't think that's unreasonable. This is a long lot. This is 180 feet long. It doesn't have to be a two-story. And that would address all these neighbors' concerns. It also would address how this street appears to the general public. And so that's one of the reasons the Civic Association wrote the letter to you. As viewed from the street, this will be incompatible for sure. It does not look, there's this beautiful little cottage across the street, the brown one with the green trim, and there's another house across the street that's also one story, and the next one is like a story and a half, and they're little houses that have a lot of village character, and this solution has none of that. And so I believe this should be rejected and come back with a village-looking house. Doesn't have to be exactly a cottage, but it needs to not look like it belongs somewhere else. I object to the fence on the driveway. I think, where is that gate going to open to? There's no place for it to slide over if you look at how it is. And it'll be a barrier, perhaps no one is really even parking there. And it's standoffish. Regarding the trees on Eagle Rock are very, very special. They were planted during the Depression with the Work Progress Agency and the South Laguna Civic Association's volunteers. And it's one of the few streets that is a consistent street pattern with the Eucalyptus ficifolia, the red flowering gum. And so the tree should be those trees along the street.
Thank you, Ann. Your
And
time's up.
I know they agreed to it. Staff is saying it has to have a height limit. The trees do not have to have a height limit. They will naturally grow to the same height as the other trees on the street.
And your time's up. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, any other speakers? Seeing none, return to the applicant. You have 3 minutes.
They can collect their boards. If you guys would come up and collect your boards, we don't need to have those up.
Well,
Thank you.
Hold on a second. Why don't you wait till they collect the boards?
Just for the reference, digital photos are fine to submit via email.
It's okay. I don't mind the blow-ups. I use them in my trials. So any event, 3 minutes.
okay. I really just want to say that I
know.
have,
Meeting
for
was
the
up.
record, always believed in this process, and there are particulars about the process that sometimes don't make sense from this side of the table. But generally, I understand the process. Been doing it quite a long time, and I do believe that we followed the process through here. And I respect all your opinions. I really just want to hear what you think. You all went and saw it. You have your own perspective. I trust what you guys believe. So if you believe that this project is acceptable tonight, great. If you don't, then I'm going to accept that, and you're going to tell me what you think would be acceptable, and I'm going to work towards that. That's what I do. So I just want to hear what you think. And I could go through every item that was said here. I could try to debate it back. I don't think that's necessary. I think the process speaks for itself. So please tell me what you think so I know where to go with this.
All right. Thank you very much. With that, any questions?
Question.
Let me just, to you, sorry.
Wait,
Just,
MJ?
it's your last night. Or
No, I had a question, but
All right,
if you,
We're going to questions.
My questions, I have two questions. One, you've
you go
agreed to
first.
swap.
You
the
just
front
go ahead. You
trees.
go first. I'll go after.
I'm already going.
No, I know that. I was just.
Go
making
ahead,
sure.
Louis, go
Everybody
ahead.
else
He wants to ask
understood
the
that.
question first.
That's all right. The girl will go second.
The trees in the front, you guys, the neighbor said you agreed to a swap, of switching them to the eucalyptus red gum. Is that accurate?
Yeah, landscape.
The landscape swap
super
of those
flexible.
front two trees to be
100%.
eucalyptus.
Yeah,
Okay.
not a problem.
And then the other question was kind of the topographic survey versus the boundary survey. Would you be amenable to conditioning the boundary survey being provided prior to a building permit being?
I believe that
approved?
will.
I mean, it's ground construction, so.
Yeah, it's already, we already have a quote to do it. It's
Yeah.
automatically going to happen. And what I tried to explain was, don't spend any money. That's the onus on our property.
It is.
We're going to
And
pay for that boundary survey,
think
and
with
that'll dictate it.
The known discrepancies of the old fence and those things, I think.
The record of survey will handle all that.
The right to do that. So if we're agreeable on those two things, those would answer my two questions.
Okay, MJ.
I had a question about the gate on the driveway that Ann mentioned. Was there, tell me what's,
I mean, we have it swinging in, basically,
Swinging
away from
in,
the street.
away from the
and
street.
Into the property, yeah.
okay, so the
And,
double
We've done
swing.
it before, and it's worked really well. We haven't had any issue with it.
Okay, and then the lower green flag, what was the height on that lower green flag?
That's a rail height. It's 42 inches above floor level. So that lower green flag
But
represents the
from
railing.
from ground up to match, because that's what
I
you're
can
saying.
tell you that's 9, 10,
But that would be,
3.5. It's 13 and a half
you
feet.
had to move that green flag to meet the green flag to which Stan.
You have to dig a hole 6
You have
foot
to
deep
excavate.
to lower the whole thing, or don't have a second story.
Okay, and I think we discussed the back of the property. And then the other question, the whole one-story concept of leaving things at one story, that's not even, I mean,
That's deliberation. Yeah, save it
oh,
for
okay.
comments.
Okay, I'm just curious to know if that's like,
Yeah, okay. Seeing no other questions.
Leave with comments. Ms.
Gotta
Stevens?
close the public hearing. That's what I do. I close the public hearing. Just.
Heather, do you have the photos that I submitted?
Yes.
I submitted them on the last hour, so.
Yeah, we
good.
put them into a PowerPoint, so.
Oh,
Paula can
perfect.
show them.
Nice. Because I'm going to focus on the view equity, because that seems to be the most contentious. So in this photo, so this is where the Kenneth, the neighbor Kenneth was so, Ken Snyder, well, he went by Kenneth. I showed up unannounced and he welcomed me in. So this is, I believe it's, at the start of the hallway or something. Yeah, so overlooks the stairwell. This is where, I believe he said that his wife likes to watch the whales go by. And then the next one is the zoomed in photo. So if you go to the next. Oh no, that's the view from the balcony. I sent them out of order. So that's the view over the stairwell when you're sitting at his kitchen island where they like to sit for breakfast and look out. So the view equity, in my opinion, I don't see any view equity there. Next photo, please. Yeah, so that's that's the stairwell that I was mentioning. So just on the other side of that, I was sitting at the island or standing at the island looking out. And then the previous photo was the zoomed in one. So next photo, please. This is standing in the living room. You can see that view equity has been achieved, view consideration. This is the main primary living space. Next photo, please. And this is a zoomed in from the main living space. Next photo, please. There's one from the bedroom balcony. From the bedroom, you can't see, all you see is trees when you're going to see a house. But if you stand on the balcony, you can see the ocean view, but it cuts across the middle of the property. Oh, maybe it didn't go through. Oh, anyway, so what I observed is from the bedroom, there's no view. It just faces towards the front of the house. There's currently trees there that will now be a house. So it's the front of the house. And then when I stood on the balcony, the view was across the property towards the right. And there is a view impact from that, but again, it's from the balcony. And they maintained the horizon view, but it does take a significant ocean view. But for the main living space, including where they sit and eat, I believe view equity has been achieved. So the next portion of what was view consideration, privacy, the house next door, it's a single story home. Your back patio area, there's people look into back patios all the time, decks, porches. I don't see a privacy concern that's not already there. Obviously, there's going to be a two-story house with a balcony that's going to be able to look into your backyard. But I think the windows are well articulated enough that you won't be able to really get eye-to-eye contact. Plus, there's going to be a privacy fence, so to protect the privacy between the two neighbors, the single-story home. And as far as the privacy from Ken's house, I did see a privacy concern the first go around, but this second rendition, I think that the applicant corrected that and mitigated that privacy. As far as neighborhood compatibility goes, this is a subjective finding of the design review criteria, but objectively, you can say there are other two-story properties on this street, including 2 doors up and continuing on, there's multiple two-story properties. So objectively, I can make the findings for neighborhood compatibility. Objectively, I can make the findings for view consideration and privacy. And I think, Heather, you did a fabulous job with the staff report, and I support all the other findings that you stated, and I can approve this project.
All right. MJ, you want to go next?
Oh, sure. I guess I was sort of in another headspace, but I think that this is approvable, so that will help you kind of listen. But I do have one request for the privacy component, the terrace. Is there something to put so that people can't sit and lean on the terrace? Like, is there like a flower boxes you can put in at the edges just so that people can't just stand and hang out and look over at the neighbors? Because I think the window situation has been handled because you took down those windows. But is there something that can keep it from feeling so open to the neighbors?
Some sort of buffer?
Yeah, just like a low, it doesn't have to be a high hedge. It's just keeping people from being able to lean and hang out and look down at the neighbor's yard.
Yeah, fortunately, this is a master, so it's not like a living room balcony, so that helps. But yeah, certainly there is. I'm not sure exactly how we would achieve that, because ultimately, would the planter be raised or be dropped? And
On the decking upstairs.
On the decks.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to.
I mean, do you feel like that looking down from that deck that you're not looking down at their neighbors?
No, you clearly are.
So,
I mean,
so.
But I don't know how to
So
even if you're 2 feet back, I'm not sure that it.
It does, because it
changes.
keeps you from literally hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I see where you're getting. I don't mind
keep
the
it as
idea.
a buffer.
Not sure.
As opposed to putting like a trellis up or something that would block your view. Uh-oh, what's happening? What did I do? What did I do? Did I do something?
Yeah.
MJ, what we could do is run a 18-inch high planter that, let's say,
Yeah,
is
just-
18 inches deep, 18 inches high, deep, and run it the length.
Run the length, put some succulents in there and you'll look great and it'll be fine. It'll keep you from actually being.
But
active.
whatever's in there won't be taller than
The rail.
42 inches total. No
Okay.
higher than the rail, but that will keep people from getting right to the edge.
That's pretty much.
Compromise.
that-
Are we talking the entire edge or just the
I
side?
think it's the sides
Yeah,
that look
okay.
down. I don't
Yeah.
think you have to do it towards the back necessarily. I mean, maybe do an L. Maybe I'll come up with something like that. I don't want it to look too funky though.
That's a fabulous consideration.
that.
Yes, thank you. All right, so that would work to give a little privacy because that is going to be somewhat of an active area. I think your windows are fine. I think the height is great. I mean, I will say, and this is me doing what I do, I scold occasionally, and I think Stan mentioned it, is, start with a huge thing and then say, look, we gave you all this. It's like, you know how we don't like that. I'm just throwing it out there to keep it in your little hat. But we saw through it, and I do believe where we're at now is great. Would have been great if you started here. And I think you've reached view equity and design neighborhood compatibility. There's a lot of funky little houses throughout this place, and there's definitely 2 stories. There's one just a couple stories up that is this weird mishmash of a modern mixed with a cottage. So I think you're fine, and I think using the materials you're using, keep it sort of understated. So organically, I think you're okay there. Lighting, you're fine. Shrubs, you're good. The tree change is perfect. That's it.
Louis?
Yeah, so I touched on the 2 issues earlier. MJ, I think the planter idea is, fine for the side yards. I think that's a good idea. So the red gum tree swap and then the boundary survey recorded before permits issued is part of what I need. As far as neighborhood compatibility, it came up as a question. Neighborhood compatibility is not defined by the immediate 2 houses next to a property. It's defined by the up and down the street. And I think as I walk up and down Eagle Rock, there's 2-story houses. There's lots of, granted, it's one of the slower streets to gentrify, so to say. But there are 2-story houses that exist in this zone, whether it's Eagle Rock or these other streets. So to deprive this owner of that right would be a disservice to them, especially since they have a buildable envelope that allows for a 2-story building on the lot. I think when it comes to the 2-story application, the applicant has followed the board's direction by minimizing that upper floor and not extending it the full length of the lot. I think that provides the biggest benefit to all the neighbors up the street. I think it actually works in favor to the development pattern of the few houses going up the street because they each kind of slowly progress further and further back into the lot. So it gives everyone just a little more peekaboo, a little bit more view as you continue to go up that hill. So I think this one's carefully crafted. As far as the design integrity and the design look, this is absolutely stunning. It is a modern rendition of where South Laguna Funky meets its historical characteristics. So I am supportive of that development in this style because there is such an eclectic mix. And there, you know, some of these newer homes do have some of this flair, and this is quite in line with that. As far as the other design review criteria, it's been well outlined by Heather and staff. I am supportive of this project and will be supporting it this evening.
Emir?
I agree with the fellow board members. I think initially when we gave feedback for the upper level, I was hoping for maybe a little bit more off of that master bedroom. I think there could have been a little bit more consideration done. I do believe, though, that the view equity was achieved in the reduction where there was definitely a balance. I'm not a fan of the fence for the driveway. I think it'll limit that surface parking because it opens in. I think you're less likely to park surface parking, and it's also not really neighborhood like in South Laguna. I think having that driveway with access will go a long way. And just pulling that whole fence line out, that would be my suggestion. If I had to suggest the number for the master bed to pull in it back, I would say pull that master bedroom back toward the master closet and line that wall up. If you're, I'd be open to that if the rest of the board is thinking about it. Those are my comments.
All right. Well, the two issues really are three: mass scale, privacy, and view equity. On mass and scale, which is really neighborhood compatibility, and that's what we look at. And I echo Board Member Wiles' comments. We look at the whole neighborhood, and there is second story. I mean, Ken Schneider's house is two-story. And to deprive this owner, the applicant, of a two-story would deprive him of a right that other owners in the area have. And, I don't know whether it's gentrification, but, the old houses, that are one story get impacted by two-story, particularly on a vacant lot. So that's kind of the tough, balancing between development rights and existing structures. But the neighborhood's so overwhelmingly two-story that it would be unfair to deprive this owner of a two-story, particularly given the size, the size and location of the lot, which is similar to other two-story lots in the neighborhood. The second point is, given that there is the right to a second story, where it goes is going to impact somebody. It's just, that's the nature of Eagle Rock Way. And, what we look at is the impacts in such a way that they're at least balanced. And, it's not perfect. If we move it to the back, it's going to impact somebody. If we leave it there, and what we had asked and what I had specifically had in my mind was pulling back the house from the backyard. That opens up the privacy and the view equity for both the Snyders and for the Wrens, for Melinda Wren. And I never looked at Ann's house. I was never asked to go over there. I knocked and there was no one there, but I could kind of see the same kind of thing, that the best benefit, given the two-story, was pulling back the back, which the applicant did, and I think did in a way that made that project neighborhood compatible and appropriate. On view equity, again, I echo the comments. I went up to Ken Snyder's rooms, and the key ceremonial rooms that are that give the most protection under the guidelines are the ones that really are not impacted by the project at all. I think just kind of showed some of that. I took pictures too from the kitchen and from the dining room. With the pullback, it really opens up those views. And again, if you put the project forward, it's going to impact somebody else's views. And, given the location, I find view equity has been met. So I'm good with what Jess said about
Where do you stand on?
I'm not
the
Jess.
Tom, where do you stand on? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm good with the planter. As far as further reductions go, I just don't think they're necessary. I wouldn't oppose them necessarily, but I don't think I would require it. So, yeah, I just don't think, I think the house meets all the criteria, and I just don't think requiring it be modified really makes that big a difference.
How
So,
about the gate? I like the gate concept. I do.
Are you-
oh, the gate.
Are you okay with removing the driveway gate?
Yeah, are you,
For sure.
okay, I can tell, I didn't, as I recall, I didn't see another gate.
Not a,
Yeah,
Okay, so I'm good with that too. Emer, does that answer your questions? Yeah.
Let me make a motion on item number 5.11 at project location 31.
Want Jess to do the last
Oh,
motion?
do you want to do it? She gets
I'll do
to
the, I'll
do
do the
it. Want to
second.
do it?
No, I pass it to
I'm
you.
sorry.
No,
I
go
jumped
for
the
it.
gun.
No,
Okay, let me start over.
The sleep at the wheel, I would have said.
I propose a motion for item number 511 at project location 31565 Eagle Rock Way that the board adopts resolution 25-0407, approving design review 2025-0407 and coastal development permit 2025-0408 for the property, I already did that part. And that the finding said action exempt from CEQA guidelines 15303, and that the three conditions be applied. That one, a boundary survey be recorded prior to a building permit being issued. And if any substantial changes occur, that modifications come back to the board. Or significant modifications come back to the board per the director. Second, that the 2 trees in the front yard be swapped out to eucalyptus red gum, no height limit. Planters be installed on the side yards of the upper back decking that are 18 inches high, 18 inches wide, and plants not to exceed the railing height. And that we remove the driveway gate.
I'll second that.
Call the roll.
Board Member Belta,
Yes.
Board Member Coveney,
Yes.
Board Member Wow,
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Gannon,
Yes.
Yes.
Chair Gibbs.
The last,
Motion and
the
second.
last vote from this lady here after.
thank you very much.
Never say never, Chair. Never say last.
That's right. Never say never. All right. Thank you very much.
Stan, you'll forever be Jessica's
When's
last
the
vote.
next meeting? I should know. Hold on, I'll tell you.
April 9th.
April
It was a
9th.
5-0.
Okay, the Design Review Board is adjourned to our next meeting on